Blue Jays taking the field on a very cool, crisp evening here at Joe Yenny Stadium in Metairie. Temperature at game time 56 degrees, and the wind is out of the north at 15, gusting to 22. Unbeaten football teams, Jesuit and Rummel, here tonight. And we expect a packed house. It's packed on the home side, and it's filling in on the visitor side very well also here this evening. And captains are meeting at the center of the field. And I mentioned the weather. And tonight's weather is presented by the Vital Healthcare Group. And here with a complete update on tonight's weather is Danny Ream. Danny, good evening.
Hey Ken, it is finally football weather. It came for week 9, but at least it got here. It is definitely chilly out here, but a great atmosphere here at Joe Yenny Stadium. The fans are coming in. It's going to be a heck of a ball game tonight between the Blue Jays and the Raiders. This is what it's all about. Back up to you.
All right, thanks very much, Danny Ream. Jesuit adorned in their white road uniforms, blue numerals, blue helmets, and blue pants. Rummel in their all red look with the exception of the helmets, the white helmet with the Columbia blue and scarlet red stripes, and the R familiar on that helmet with the red jerseys and pants. Jesuit is going to receive to start the ball game, but it's not necessarily the best thing because the wind is a significant factor here tonight. Rummel will kick off, and of course the Raiders will have the wind at their back in the first quarter. Mark, talk about how significant that is.
Well, wind's going to be a serious concern, you know, and Rummel's doing the right thing here by deferring, letting Jesuit fool with the wind right away, and you know, hopefully get Jesuit out and able to punt pretty early here, but we're going to see what happens.
Zach Millett will tee it up for Rummel to get it started as we look at the Raiders sideline, the #1 team in the state of Louisiana. Dante Fly will be in the deep position for Jesuit, flanked by Mitchell Alexander on one side and by Malcolm Bent on the other. So glad you've joined us tonight. Great setting for high school football. Two great institutions ready to get it on the gridiron one more time. The senior Zach Millett puts it in play. We're underway, and he hammers this one in with the wind deep into the end zone for a touchback. So Jesuit will put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. As Dante Fly will be on the fly tonight at receiver for the Blue Jays. Heads with the ball in hands toward the sideline, and the Jesuit offense ready to take to the field. Let's take a look at the Jesuit offensive players to watch. Brought to you by Quick Nutrition. Tanner Lee, 6'4", 195, the senior. He's completed 61% of his passes, averaging over 22 yards per completion, and remarkably, 21 touchdowns and no interceptions. I formation lined up behind him, and Kalen Menard will dot the I. Receivers to either side. Strong side right for Jesuit. 4-man front for Rummel on 1st down off the play fake. Lee wants to throw. Pump fakes, goes deep. He has a man open, wide open, caught. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. First play of the game, touchdown Jesuit. Off of the play fake. They bit, it worked. One of our keys, it's Matthew Hackney, 80 yards and a touchdown just like that.
Well, I tell you, when you walk coming into this game thinking you've got them backed up because of the wind, they go ahead and take a shot deep on an out and up. Perfectly thrown ball by Tanner Lee. He waited till it popped open, set his feet, fired a good one. Hackney took it in the rest of the way. Blue Jays are starting off with a giant bang here.
Well, I think when we talk about that key in the open end, clearly it's there, and Rummel bid right away. And I think you're right. I don't know that they felt like into the wind he'd throw the ball that far.
And he put it right on the money, too.
Couldn't throw it any better. And Hackney has done it all season long, and he comes through again here with another terrific play. There's a flag down on the extra point attempt. And coaches are going to discuss it. They're talking to Wade Kaiser on the Jesuit sideline. Hackney, his 24th catch of the year, his 8th touchdown reception. One play into the game, Jesuit is struck for a 7-0 lead. Offsides against Rummel declined. Jesuit wants to keep it where it is to kick the extra point here. And of course, Crew Jacobs, the freshman, will try to do that out of the hold of Hackney.
And let's see how Crew deals with this wind here. Even though it's an extra point, he's got it right in his face.
Good pass from center. Ball spotted. Nice kick by Jacobs. He's got it through there. So 11:46 to play first quarter. Just 14 seconds in, and Jesuit leads Rummel by the score of 7-0. This is what Jesuit has been doing all season long.
Yeah, you know, I really wouldn't have thought that would be the first call, but they stuck with it. It was obviously something they saw on film. And, you know, based on the Shaw game earlier in the year, I hate to keep bringing that up, but they were really adept with the out-and-up routes, putting it on the money, getting behind the cornerbacks there. And no change here. They're going to the air with it.
Not much of a drive, as you saw. It took just one play in 14 seconds for Jesuit to get on the board first. against a Rummel defense that hadn't given up a point in 3 weeks. So that's changed right away.
I tell you, yeah, so they're behind. This is unfamiliar territory for them for sure. And but you know, both teams, like we said in the pregame show, are really used to this kind of an atmosphere right here. Rummel, no doubt, is going to come right back, and they're going to probably throw with the wind a little bit. But again, when you've got the wind to your back and you're throwing it, that also will affect the trajectory of the football.
Last year's game, which Jesuit won 42-21, this was the situation. Jesuit scored, went up 7-0. They kicked off into the wind. Rummel did not field the ball. Jesuit recovered, scored, went up 14-0, and that really was the game right there.
Yeah.
It was pretty even the rest of the way.
Yeah, you know, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen right here. Jesuit does a good job of really spot kicking the ball, putting it into an end or a dead area that's hard to field, and this is a great opportunity to do it here into the wind.
Joseph Eustace to kick it off. And again, the Rummel deep men are standing at about the 15-yard line, and that's probably a bit generous, as this kick is not going to get anywhere near there. It's right in the middle. As we talked about, Ethan Carter made a nice catch, and he'll get outside the 30 to about the 33-yard line. That's where Rummel will put the ball in play. Or the 1st and 10 of the Raider offense, which has been very proficient, will head to the field. Jay Roth giving instructions. He runs the offense for the Raiders. Eddie Jacquillard, the defense. 6-yard return for Carter, who did a good job there. That wasn't an easy catch to make.
No, it wasn't. And a nice stop by Mitchell Alexander on the tackle for the Blue Jays.
32-yard line for Rummel officially, wide side, left side of the field. Damian Williams, 6'1", 215, 67% completions, and over 19 yards per completion, 8 touchdowns on the year. Lines up in shotgun, wide side, left side of the field. 4-man front for Jesuit on 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Man in motion into the formation. Fake it. Williams wants to throw on first down.
Tight end wide open.
Down the middle. He's got it. 50, 40, 35, down to about the 31-yard line, and a first down for the Raiders. You can do it, so can we. Well, this is what we talked about in the pregame.
First, great job against cover 2 right there, slipping the tight end right up into the seam, kind of stretching him deep.
Key players for the Raiders: Keith Fulton, the tailback. Ethan Carter, who just made that catch, who's a big-time Division I prospect. So is Patrick Klebert, the fine tackle, who's 6'8" and 312 pounds. 1st and 10, Rummel at the Jesuit 29-yard line. Receivers to either side. Fulton is the deep back, and they'll run him. No, they won't. Williams faking, looking, throwing it out to Ricks. He's got it at about the 12-yard line. So Chris Ricks, the senior, has it on the play fake. Great fake by Williams. He faked me out, and Williams might be a little bit shaken up on the play as he let the ball go. The only thing about Damian, he's had a lot of injury issues in his career at Rummel, but he's tough. Andrew Joseph, Will Wall, Trey Leger, key players for the Blue Jays. Wall and Leger 2 interceptions each. Joseph is the leading tackler for Jesuit.
Really well-run out route, deep out route. Wall fell down on the coverage. Williams put a nice ball in there for the first down.
1st and 10, Rummel at the Jesuit 12. We're only a minute in. What a start we've had here. And now Brandon Phillips slots next to Williams in shotgun against a 50 front. And they're going to give it to Phillips. He gets inside the 10 to about the 9. So Brandon Phillips, the sophomore, 180 pounds, goes for 3 to the 9. And it's 2nd down and 7 yards to go for Rummel from the 9-yard line. The Rummel offensive line has been very good all year. And they'll use 3 backs much like Jesuit.
Yeah, they certainly will, especially here in the red zone where Jesuit stacked the box. Looks like they had 6 men down and changed up the front just a bit. That gave Rummel a little bit of trouble.
2nd down and 7 from the 9-yard line. Williams getting rid of some of the clothing, a towel of sorts that was hanging off of him. Says, I don't need that one. Rummel runs that play clock down as they're apt to do. Williams wants to run inside. He's tripped and dropped for a loss. Back at about the 12-yard line. The penetration was outstanding by Hunter Robert, the sophomore defensive lineman. That's a big stop. Back at about the 11. And it's going to be 3rd down and 9 as a result.
You know, Hunter Robert played a crucial role last year as a freshman on this team that went to the quarterfinals. And what a nice, tough player he is. Very strong. He slanted to the play side. It was a draw by Williams. Picked it up nicely.
So 3rd down and 9 from the 11. Likely passing situation. Dunbar and Ricks to the right. 2 tight ends set for Rummel. Fulton in the backfield, who's a good receiver. Snap to Williams. Fake it to Fulton. Throws an inside route to Ricks. Shook one, but he'll never get there. Good defense by Jesuit, stopping him at the 7. Blue Jays get a big stop, and they'll force a Rummel field goal attempt. And the tackle for Jesuit made by 44, and that's Brandon Munster. So Munster makes the stop, And the Blue Jays get a stop, and they'll force a field goal attempt by the Raiders.
Great penetration by the Jesuit defensive front right there. 2-3 got through and forced the throw to be a little bit quick from Damian Williams.
Zach Paulette, 4 of 9 on the season at field goals from 24 yards out of the hold of Jordan Namey. Snap spot. Kick is on the way. He's hit it well, and he's hit it right through. So we'll take the break with 8:49 to play first quarter. Jesuit 7, Rummel 3 on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase on WHNO Channel 20. Nice job by the Raiders to answer Jesuit score. They could not put it in the end zone. Give Jesuit the credit there for getting a stop in the red zone and holding the Raiders to 3. Zach Paulette with his 5th field goal of the season will tee it up to kick it off. And again, Jesuit will have Dante Fly deep to receive. But if Paulette hits it square, he'll probably get it into the end zone with this wind at his back. And he does just that. So
Last
forget
one
about
almost
it.
went out, and it's about 8 yards deep there.
So Jesuit will start from its own 20. The Blue Jays have snapped it once, and they have 7 points. And talked about in the pregame, Rummel's very good in the secondary, but again, the play fakesively, you can coach it all week long and tell them over and over again, and still in real time, it's a different situation.
And you can't bite. You've got to sit. You've got to sit on those receivers for a long time. As we said before, Tanner Lee's very good with his feet, so he can extend his time a little bit back there and get some guys open.
Menard, Alexander Creel, key players for the Blue Jays. All good on first down. Run it with Menard, cuts back, finds a little bit of a hole, and fights forward for 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 yards. And if Jesuit can run the ball on Rummel, that's going to be huge because very few people have done that, if any, this year.
Yeah, and you know, nothing fancy so far by the Raiders. Of course, that was only the second play, but I'm used to seeing them slant and stem a lot.
Matthew Kennedy and Michael Kennedy, the brothers, have been tremendous. Terrence Jones all over the field, typically speaking. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Off the fake, Lee under pressure from Jones. Jones got him, he's down. Terrence Jones with the blitz, and he's quite an X factor for the Raiders, isn't he?
He's the one that I've got my eye on. Just watching the film on him leading up to this ball game, he is all over the place. They do a lot with him. He's a special football player, and you never know where he's coming from. He always stays after the play here. Coming in late right there. There he is. Got Lee by the ankles, and Jesuit's in the hurry up again.
3rd and 5, stretch play. Menard stacked up, maybe a yard. Rummel is held. And guess who? Terrence Jones,
that's him,
to make the stop. He's been bothered by a calf injury the past few weeks. Looks to be moving pretty well thus far.
Yeah, nothing wrong with his play so far, and any injury that he's got is certainly not showing up right now, forcing the Blue Jays into a punting situation into the wind.
Yeah, this is really where this game could well be decided. The kicking game into the wind on both sides. First things first, you've got to kick the ball low, Mark. You just can't get it airborne.
You can't let it hang up there. It'll just sit and drop. And you can see the Rummel. I'm trying to get a number on who's returning this.
That's Josh Franklin.
Josh Franklin is kind of tight to the line of scrimmage.
Charles Graham, a beautiful punt into the wind. Fair catch call for. And he dropped the ball. Dropped the ball, and Jesuit is recovered, I believe. Franklin dropped the ball, and the Blue Jays recover the first big turnover of the game. And Jesuit has it on the fumble punt recovered by Colby Semino, the junior, at the Rummel 46-yard line. A 37-yard punt into the wind. That was a terrific
That's exceptional.
punt.
It really is exceptional. Got hung up there in the wind. You can see here. There it goes. It's going to get hung up, and I think it might have taken a little bit of a wobble at the very end, and it looked like he was fair catching it, and I guess he did, just couldn't get a handle on it.
Jesuit at the Rummel 46 in great shape, and Lee is in shotgun on 1st and 10 with a 3-receiver set. He'll run it to the right. Shook one tackle, and a gain of maybe 3 or 4 yards on the play, and a good job on the carry for the Blue Jays by Bennett Skiro. He's probably the toughest runner Jesuit has.
He sure is. Doesn't have the greatest speed. Runs well for a fullback, but they like that kind of cross buck action to him, and they've come up with some big plays from him at times throughout the season.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 for Jesuit. It's fly in motion across the formation. Lee. Middle.
Oh!
Incomplete. Very good job by Dontrell Bennett to get in there, get a hand on it, and get a hand on the receiver, because that was another perfectly thrown ball.
That was great technique just now. Great technique because the ball was put right on the money to fly.
Bennett with an outstanding job defensively, and it's 3rd down and 7 for Jesuit at the Rummel 42. Lee off the fake again. Blitz coming. He's in trouble. Shook one. Looks and throws. Incomplete. Well, the pressure was hard, and if you want to stop Lee, that's how you do it.
And, you know, they haven't, the Blue Jays and Lee have not had to face too much pressure this year. You know, there hasn't been.
And this is where you think about going for it, Mark.
Yeah, we
with
talked
the wind,
about that.
The way it is, although they punted it well last time and it worked out well, so it looks like they will punt the football.
I don't know if you want to give Rummel a short field right here with the success they had that first time they had the first series they had the ball, but you know, I'm anxious to see how they continue to respond to the pressure.
Graham with another nice spiral, right to left, bounces sideways, will be down at about the 20-yard line. So that worked out pretty well overall for both sides. Rummel got a stop. Jesuit pins Rummel back a bit with 6:14 to play in the first quarter. 7-3 Jesuit will take the timeout. This is the first NBC Prep Football Showcase on WHNO Channel 20. Raiders with the ball 1st and 10 from their own 20. Williams in shotgun, fakes it, keeps it right, got one block, cuts in, has a first down across the 30. He's out to the 32. He's a downhill runner, Mark. He gets north and south. He's awfully tough.
He sure does. He's a big target there. That was just a counter play back here to the short side of the field. Jay likes that a lot. Jesuit was in a 5-man front again. And there's the fake across, all the front down blocking, and here he comes, lowering his shoulders downfield. Nice pickup.
Gain of 14. It's 1st and 10. And here is Williams right to the edge and knocked out of bounds after a 5 or 6 yard gain at about the 40-yard line is Damian. Look, when he's healthy, he'll carry the ball 20 times a game. He's big and strong.
And they should just put it on his back, and he's such a big physical specimen with some great talent and a leader and a half. That time the snap was fumbled. He picked it up and picked up 5 or 6 yards out of it. And it wasn't even a designed play.
2nd down and 4 yards to go from the 40-yard line. Williams in shotgun with the snap and the fake and the throw outside, incomplete. It's an incomplete pass, signaled immediately. Fulton didn't catch it. Tried to get him in isolation out there, but it wasn't real good spacing on that play.
No, there wasn't. And they're trying to stay away from this Jesuit defensive front, which could cause a lot of problems for them with all the movement that we've talked about week after week. Watching Jesuit up front just really, you know, stem and slant and blitz like they do, and they do so well.
So here's a conversion down, 3rd and 4. Fulton will be the running back behind Williams, who's under center this time, with receivers to either side. Against a 50 front, off the fake, Williams wants to throw an out route. It is caught in traffic. First down, nice throw. Ricks with the catch and tight coverage applied by William Wall, but can't stop that. It's just a well-thrown ball.
No, and he's getting rid of it very quickly. If you watch, he sets his feet right away. He knows exactly where he's going with it. Here it comes. There's a snap, quick fake, feet set, and he's throwing on the break. Very, very well executed play. And like you said, into good coverage.
And that's a setup call, isn't it? Setting up the out and up eventually, right?
Out and up, stop and go, something like that to get behind him. Jesuit's been in a cover 2 and cover 4 so far, and it looks like it's going to be cover 3 on first down here.
From the Rummel 46-yard line. Snap it. Williams wants to throw again. Looking deep from Migliore, and it sailed on him, incomplete. Tried to fit it in the seam. And again, when you're throwing into the wind, it's not easy to place this ball.
No, that's what we referred to earlier. Sometimes you get that wind behind you, and a normally thrown ball just kind of takes off out of your hand, and boy, you had him wide open there. It would have been a great big gain for the Raiders.
2nd down and 10 yards to go. 2 quarterbacks that clearly have the arms to throw the ball in these conditions.
Without a doubt. But really, you're watching 2 very talented football players, 2 very talented quarterbacks here tonight. this is a special treat for everybody.
2nd and 10, Rummel at its own 46-yard line, and a 3-receiver set for Williams. Takes the snap, fakes it, wants to throw, and does, and the traffic Dunbar somehow caught it and fights forward to about the 48-yard line. And this play was very well diagnosed by Trey Leger, but give Dunbar a lot of credit. He's a good athlete and made a good play.
Sure, it looks like they were going to try to block with the widest receiver, and he just didn't get there on time because Leger read it right away. Really good coaching there.
Yeah, that's no doubt. That's the defender reading it well, not a missed block by any stretch. 3rd down, 4 yards to go at the Jesuit 48 for the Raiders. Counter play to the right, and that's going to be a big play. Fulton 40, 35-30, he may go. 25-20, touchdown, saving tackle at about the 13-yard line. Keith Bolton Rummels, big for 35 yards, it appears, and a first down for the Raiders. Tackle made by Colby Semino, well executed.
Really good call by the Raiders here, especially catching Jesuit slanting to the field and coming back here to the short side. The offensive staff for Rummel does a really good job of scouting these guys ahead of time. And again, a great touchdown saving trip up, I guess you could say right there. Rummel threatening right now.
At the Jesuit 13, they've been here before. Jesuit stiffened last time around. 1st and 10 at the Jesuit 13. Shotgun Williams, the snap, wants to run it. Got a good lead block. He's at the 10. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 5 by Leger. Maybe inside the 5. Looks like it'll be at about the 4. That's a gain of 9. And it will be 2nd and 1 for Rummel. And they're starting to find something up front. Their offensive line has been very good.
They're very good. They're going out of a 2 tight end set here, and they're really picking on the short side of the field. Why, I don't know. I guess they really probably believe that Jesuit runs fairly well on defense and wants to kind of take the attack to that short side.
2nd down, a yard to go. Rummel at the Jesuit 4-yard line, threatening to take the lead for the first time. Williams glances over to the sideline. It's the call he wants. He'll line up under center with Fulton behind him. Maddox the up back. Snap it. Go to Fulton running left. Cuts it in, and he looks to have the first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Rummel at about the 1-yard line. Fulton is a very shifty back. Good player. 2 sports star basketball player as well, and a good one for the Raiders, and a very good receiver out of the backfield.
Lowers his shoulders here real well. This is just a power play to the left side, the wide side of the field here. And Blue Jays are in man coverage there all the way with a 5-man front.
This will be the 11th play of the drive for the Raiders. That's what they love. 1st and goal from the
Long
Jesuit
drive.
1. Brandon Phillips, the deep back, and Rummel moved offensively.
Yeah,
so you go from the 1 to the 6, and that's a big difference, as Ethan Carter was premature.
Well,
and so far, the mistakes have been on the Rummel side.
Yeah, they have, and we talked about this ahead of time with several people up here in the box. Easton Roth included, Jay's dad said, we talked about this earlier about stupid penalties and turnovers. That's what's going to kill them here. But they're on a roll right now. They'll shake this off. 1st and goal from the 6.
Eddie Allamore, the referee. Yards not easy to come by in this neck of the woods, so now it's 1st and goal from the 6, under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. 7-3 Jesuit on top. Williams again looking over toward the sideline. Gets what he wants. Maddox the up back in a 2 tight end set once more. Snap it. Williams wants to run himself. Cuts back nicely, and he'll score. Touchdown Rummel, and he just set it up. He let the blocks develop, and the blocking was superb.
Exactly. Down blocks on the front side. Nothing more than a snap to the quarterback, a little jab step right to the short side of the field over that big offensive line. And Jesuit had a 5-man front with a little bit of a tilt to the side that it was called to. So Rummel taking the lead right here.
Zach Paulette for the extra point out of the hold of Jordan Naney. And Paulette has put it up and put it through. So 4:16 to play in the first quarter. Looks like a 10-7 game, but there is a flag in the end zone on the play. Unusual place to see a flag on an extra point attempt. And let's get the call. They're going to call an illegal procedure penalty against Rummel. Not sure what it was. Didn't see any movement at all.
Shouldn't make much of a difference here, though, with the wind to their back. And let's make a note that Namey is the backup quarterback here. So I know Jay's got some things up his sleeves with regard to tricks here. We may see something later on like that where if he needs to pull that out.
And with Rummel winning by convincing margins this year, Jordan Namey's played a lot. He started the first game of the year against Slidell when Williams was hurt, and he's seen a lot of playing time and is the heir apparent as a junior. So Paulette now from 25 yards to try to make it a 3-point lead for the Raiders. And he has knocked this one through once more. So with 4:16 to play in the first quarter, Rummel on top of Jesuit by the score of 10-7, as the Rummel students a little bit braver than I would be here tonight. Ought to be young again, please. Tonight's game is brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating, your local paint store with 6 locations in Southeast Louisiana. Let Helm's home team steer you in the right direction. And for all the latest news on high school, college, and pro sports in Louisiana, be sure to visit SportsNola.com. SportsNola features a team of area writers offering unique opinions. Plus, catch our first NBC video updates. It's all at SportsNola.com, best site on the web. Very impressive drive for the Raiders. And their sideline pretty happy right now. A little bit pensive after the start they had, but feeling a little bit better about things right now. Up 10-7 with 4:16 to play in the first quarter. That was a patented Rummel drive right there, Mike.
I think it was about 13 plays it ended up being. And yet Rummel with the 2 big mistakes so far, the penalty and the dropped punt return.
This kickoff he didn't hit as well, but the wind will carry it into the end zone nonetheless. And a touchback. And keep in mind that Jesuit's playing into the wind here in the first quarter. And the real feel for this game is you want to try to play as even as possible when you're into the wind, and you want to win when you have the wind at your back.
Exactly. And so far, though, into the wind, really impressive.
Well, Lee's thrown the ball well. Wind or no wind, ditto for Damian Williams. Charles Jackson, their speediest back, is in the backfield for Jesuit on 1st and 10 from the 20. And they're going to fake it and roll right. Lee looks, throws on a drag route, caught at the 20, 25, and out to about the 28 is Skiro. Michael Kennedy drags him down, but nice design play and a gain of about 8.
And that's a nice adjustment to the pressure that they were getting on the plus side of the field a minute ago by the Raider defense. They didn't react too well to that, so sprint the quarterback out, bootleg type action. That'll give you quarterback a little bit more time. Nice grab by Skiro there in the flat.
Second down and a short 2 from the 28. Run it inside. Big hit, but it looks to be a first down nonetheless. Stood him up. Jackson's not very big, but he's fast.
Yeah, he sure is. He's the fastest of the 3 backs that they run. Runs low to the ground as well, and gives them that little extra step that they're going to need. But he got pounded there just now by that Rummel front. Just wasn't enough to stop him.
Wind howling here in Metairie. 1st and 10. Blue Jays move the chains at their own 31. Twin receivers left, I formation behind Lee. Snap it, play fake, and roll out. And incomplete. That ball is the first one that hung up a little bit, but Lee was moving and he got hit on the play as he was delivering. Looked like Delshon Moses that got there for Rummel. Herman Thomas, actually. That was Herman Thomas, the junior, that got there and delivered a hit.
Here's the fake and the rollout. A little bit of pressure to Lee right there. Maybe threw the throw off a little bit.
Not as easy rolling left for a right-handed quarterback.
No.
2nd and 10 from the 31-yard line. And a counter play right. And a big hit delivered by Josh Franklin. He just blew up Jackson there. Franklin, he had the fumble earlier, but he is a terrific football player. He runs as well as anybody on the field tonight. And this is a guy playing linebacker who's like 5'6", but he just flies to the football.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a nose for the football. He runs so well. He plays that defense very well. They're very comfortable in their scheme. You know, what I haven't seen them do is disguise anything up to this point, and that's been their staple all year.
3rd down and 9. Jesuit at their 32. Lee, shotgun to throw under pressure. He's hit. He got it off, incomplete. A tremendous pressure by Kennedy, who got there for the Raiders. He is some football player, leading tackler for the Rummel Raiders, and 3rd-generation football star. Lester Kennedy, one of the great players in New Orleans history, and Warren Easton, his dad, Pat, was wonderful at Rummel.
You know, and I talked about this before. How is Jesuit going to handle the pressure? And these aren't standard stunts. These aren't just, typical this linebacker's going to fire, this linebacker's not. When they came after that punt pretty good.
Sure did, and they kick it left and almost hit a Raider, but it backpedals, and that's about as good as you can hope for if you're Jesuit. It's so tough to play into the wind tonight, and I got to tell you, I give a lot of credit to their punter, Charles Graham, he's done an excellent job. I know numerically that's not going to look like a good punt, but that was a heck of a punt.
No, it was, but you're seeing the wind play a factor right here. He might have gotten under that a little bit too much, and it really got caught up there about press box level.
Wednesday nights on WHNO, it's a new series focusing on the world of high school recruiting. Join Ken Berthelot and Renee Nato for Prep Recruiting Insiders. We take an in-depth look at the best prospects in our area, past and present. It's Prep Recruiting Insider, Wednesdays at 6 here on WHNO Sports. Raiders shifting all over the place to the short side of the field. First and 10 of the Jesuit 45. Williams fakes the bubble screen. He's going to roll left. He's looking. He's still looking. And a great open field tackle stops a potential big play. What an outstanding play by William Wall to get Williams in the backfield for a loss of 2. And if he doesn't make that play, that's big trouble for Jesuit.
Exactly, and they put the Twins into the boundary. Watch Wall come up right here and make a sure tackle. It's really good against a very gifted athlete here in Williams.
That's as good as you're going to see.
Yeah, and you've got to make those plays on a night like tonight.
No question. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. And now we get the whistle sounding from the officiating crew.
Won't be a heat timeout, I'll tell you that.
You got that right. My friend, I hope we're done with that for the year. You know?
September is over and done.
Okay, so the discussion going on, I'm not sure what it was about, but it doesn't look like anything's been impacted. We'll start it over again. 2nd and 12, Rummel at the Jesuit 47. 2:16 to play. First quarter, 10-7, Rummel on top.
Twins in both directions here. Jesuit's going to have to play cover 2 to this. And they're not lining up in it right now. They may be in a cover 4 where the safeties are going to play a little deep, but they're going to come up in support on the run.
I'm not sure what the discussion was unless the play clock is not functioning.
Here we go, winding
no,
the
it
clock.
is now,
Ready
so
for this
okay,
one.
now we're going to play. As Mark mentioned, 4 receiver set. Phillips in the backfield with Williams on 2nd and 12. Phillips gets it, and he's obliterated. Great play defensively, stuffed, and that's Joseph. He was there, and he was all over that play to make it. Andrew Joseph, leading tackler on the Jesuit team, the senior, who was excellent last year. He's been even better this year.
He comes right underneath, makes a really great play right there. Running back was a little bit tight on that, but really ripped underneath, and that's Jesuit slanting to the field there on that particular call.
That's their strength.
Tough to deal with, yeah, absolutely, especially if you're man blocking folks up front. If you're zoning, it's a little bit of a different story.
3rd down and 13 at the Jesuit 48. Williams shotgun, he wants to throw. With time, down the middle, intercepted, threw it right to him, intercepted, 35-40, second turnover by Rummel, and this one comes in the form of an interception. He threw it right to Josh W., who comes up with it and returns it to the 42-yard line, a 15-yard return, and the mistakes continue to fall the way of Rummel in this game.
Here we go with the Williams going to set back here and set his feet nice and tight. Whips the ball right out there. Looks like he overthrew his intended receiver, W, right there on the spot with nobody behind him, and a really good situation for the Jays to be in. You know, in this sudden change type situation, look for Jesuit to get to try to go up top again here. I would think that's going to be their call here.
Matthew Migliori was the intended receiver, but tight coverage, ball nowhere near him, and W, another 2-sport star, comes up with a basketball player for the Blue Jays. 1st and 10 Jesuit at their own 42. Lee off the fake, will throw and look out. That's incomplete.
Whoa.
That was one floating out there. It is not easy to throw the football tonight.
No, it's not. You know, and I commend him for trying to go to something deep here. Anytime you have a sudden change, you get that defense coming out there unexpectedly. There may be a miscommunication in a call, not enough guys getting on the field. You go deep quickly, but that ball had no chance.
Dontrell Bennett of Rummel the closest to the ball. 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Blue Jays at their own 42. I formation. Man in motion is Fly. Stretch play right with Jackson, and Stanley Franklin wraps him up after a short gain at about the 43-yard line. That's Stanley Franklin, and he's a good one, 6'1", 280, and a junior.
Going to be tough to run side to side on this against this Rummel defense, which, as we keep referring to, just really runs well to the football. So they're in a 3rd and tough type situation, and it's really difficult right now with this win to capitalize on Rummel mistakes.
3rd and 9, Jesuit at their own 43-yard line. Lee the snap, off the fake, has time, sets and throws, almost intercepted by Kennedy, and he may not have been stopped if he comes up with it in that situation.
Nothing but grass in front of him there. Tough, it looks like the wind may be playing a little bit with the ball Tanner's trying to throw here. Nice fake, good protection. He had plenty of time, and boy, it just came right behind him. But they had it bracketed,
Jones was waiting on it.
Jones is right there on the outside. Kennedy following him from the other direction.
Stops the clock with 38 seconds left, so it means Jesuit must punt into the wind. And Graham, who's been very busy, will handle those duties again. Franklin stands at about his 33. Quick snap from center. Directional kick. And again, the wind will knock it down. It takes a Jesuit bounce, though, and ends up pretty good for Jesuit at about the Rummel 33. So Rummel gets it back. They'll have the win for only 28 more seconds.
And still, still in all, not a bad punt in this kind of a situation. So Jesuit kicking game winning the battle here right now.
I think Jesuit has handled the wind very, very well in the first quarter. We'll find out how Rummel handles it in the second quarter. On the other hand, Rummel's made all the mistakes, and they're up by 3.
They have, and you've got to talk now. We talked really early in the first quarter about it being all offense. I'm seeing all defense right now, on both sides.
Well, these are very well coached teams. Adjustments obviously being made.
They know, each staff knows how they think.
Wide side, left side of the field. They're going to run that way with Fulton. Nice cut by Fulton. 45-50, 45, bumped out of bounds by Wall, and about the Jesuit 40 with a first down. Now that's Keith Fulton. He's a really good read and cut running back. Cut guy. He sees the field very well.
Yeah, he's got great balance too, and he's one step away from really popping. I was kind of surprised. Jesuit was in cover 2 on first down. Normally that's a rundown for you, but they must have something on Rummel, who is probably breaking tendencies right now. Here's your cut back.
Well, that's the best lead. That's the best lead blocker I've seen in Louisiana. Number 80, Ethan Cotter. He's tremendous.
A big load.
Here's Williams running right. Shook one tackle, lowers his shoulder, and gets about 5. Nice job of hanging in and making the tackle, and I do mean hanging in by Ryan Helm, the senior. Ryan's a really fine young man, and talked about Helm Paint Supply. Joey, I got you, buddy. As the first quarter is coming to a close here at Joe Yenny Stadium with our score, Rummel 10, Jesuit 7 on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. Second quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by EX5, the ultimate sports drink, distributed by Southern Eagle. And the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase returns this Sunday as the St. Rummel Raiders take on the Brother Martin Crusaders in another District 9-5A game. Catch all the action at our tape-delayed broadcast this Sunday at 1 p.m. on WHNO Sports. Rummel plays at 2nd and 5 at the Jesuit 35. Change sides, are into the wind now, and they run it left with Fulton. Shook one tackle, gets a first down. Nice cut by Fulton again, and a very good block by Nathan Bro of the Raiders helps spring him for about 7 and a first down. Rummel is the better pure running team, so they would seem to be better equipped to deal with playing into the wind.
Got more weapons, as a running team. They're really big up front. The backs are pretty good size. Really great lead blocker, as you mentioned a second ago, and Jesuit, even in a 5-man front right there, couldn't stop that.
Total yards in the first quarter, 171 Jesuit, 107 Rummel. A lot of that yardage for Jesuit on that first play of the game.
Just like last week.
Very much so. 1st and 10 Rummel at the Jesuit 28, Williams in shotgun. They'll just run it to the right. Got a good lead block. Gets a seal block, 25, and a really good tackle in the open field. Will keep him to a short game. Ball came out. Looked like he was down already on the play.
Forward progress was stopped.
Should have been down. Yeah, he was. The play was over. But that's a good job of closing by the Jesuit defense on a play that looked pretty good initially.
Could have popped, and a credit to the Jesuit defense. They run well also. Rummel in this ace formation, which is too tight, too wide. Here he comes. There's the crackback block. And Nice tackle by Leger.
Yeah, he just stayed with it, broke him down. 2nd and 7, counterplay right with Fulton, got a block. He looks to make a cut. He's to the 20, and Leger drives him out of bounds just inside the 20. It's going to be about 3rd and 2 for the Raiders from that point. Again, just keep an eye on Ethan Carter. He's an incredible blocker.
Well, they put him in that sniffer. We call it a sniffer formation, where he lines up pretty close to the line of scrimmage, and he's acting as a kickout blocker. However, on the first snap Rummel had in the game, he caught that nice ball up the seam against the cover 2.
He'll line up as a tight end frequently as well. Rummel's 0 for 3 on 3rd down in this game. Carter is tucked in left, Castillo right. 2 tight end set, 3rd and 2 from the 20. Williams figures to run it here, doesn't he? He will.
There he goes.
And he'll get the first down and more across the 15 to the 14. Just power football. Rummel's starting to win up front a bit, aren't they?
They are, and they're in that ace formation. And with that ace formation, 2 tights, 2 wides, what that does is, from a defensive standpoint, it forces you to balance up. Nice lead block there, about 55.
That's Nathan Breaux. Really good player.
It forces you to balance up your front on defense, and then you can kind of dictate your strong side, your weak side, where you want to go. And this is going to be, I think it's going to be
7th play of the drive. These have been all running plays, as you might imagine, into the wind. 1st and 10 from the 14. Run it with Phillips. Phillips broke a tackle inside the 10, fights his way to about the 8. He's the biggest back, and he's got a great future as a sophomore, 180 and gaining. And he runs strong, and he did so there and gets it down to the 8, a gain of about 6, 2nd down and 4.
You know, a couple of things on this. You're watching, what's really impressive by the Rummel running backs is and Damian Williams as well, is that a lot of their yards are coming after that first hit. Now, I know both teams are in excellent physical condition and have excellent strength. So that just goes to show you, what a powerful backfield Rummel's got here.
2nd and 4 from the Jesuit 8. Williams the snap. He'll run it. Cuts back at the 5, and he gets down inside the 5. Looks to have the first down at about the 4.
Like a rented mule. You run him until you can't run him anymore.
Well, this is the big concern for Jesuit. This is Rummel's pace. Long drives. They might be starting to wear them down a little bit on the front side.
Yeah, and they're keeping the other really important thing is, watch him lower his shoulder here. Boom. Boom. It falls forward. He's got such a long body. But it's keeping Tanner Lee and company off the field, which is another huge problem.
1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Fulton is the single running back. Maddox is slotted up next to Williams, who's under center. They usually run to the fullback side. Jesuit stacks that side. They run that side. They cut back. Fulton to the 2 to the 1 and bent backwards. So Jesuit giving ground grudgingly here as he's down to about the 1-yard line. I mentioned that wherever the fullback slotted, they usually run that way.
Yeah, they sure do. There's no secret there. Nicely played, though, by the Jesuit defensive front. The linebacker coming off the corner wrong-armed it and forced it to kind of bounce to allow those linebackers to catch up to it. Unfortunately for Jesuit, they don't have much field to work with here.
It's really at about the 1.5, just inside the 2. We're going to call it 2nd and goal from the 2. Dunbar, the lone receiver, to the right. Phillips, the deep back this time. It is at the 2 on 2nd and goal. Williams.
Somebody flinched. That's going to be a penalty.
That's false start.
Another one on Rummel.
So again in the red zone, they hurt themselves. And just when it looks like they're establishing superiority in this game, they hurt themselves.
And it drives you crazy as a football coach, I'll tell you that. And you're shooting yourself in the foot against a fine football team. It's going to cost you. If this ends up being a field goal, that's costly.
Well, field goal is going to be very tough in these conditions at this end of the field. That's why it's even more important. So if you're Rummel, you're not throwing here. You're thinking 3 downs to score here.
Here's your flinch. I believe it's a left guard. Yeah, Jesuit jumped as well.
And that could have gone the other way, but the call against Rummel. Here's Williams. He's got a man open. Touchdown. Great call. Perfectly executed. Keith Fulton leaking out of the backfield. That's just a good call and good execution.
Great call, and there was a bust by the Jesuit defense. Somebody's got that flat defender. They may have sold out and just sent everyone off the corner because Rummel's been running it so much just right off the side there. But, yeah, uncovered man. We'll see if we can get a look at really where it came from.
Williams waited for him to clear to set his feet to let it go. He had him from the get-go.
Actually, he probably could have run it in also.
Here's Paulette for the extra point, and it is
blocked.
blocked. Blocked by Jesuit, so Blue Jays got great penetration, and we'll see if that figures anywhere down the road. So with 8:12 to play first half, it's now Rummel 16, Jesuit 7 on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase on WHNO Channel 20. Jay Roth walks the sidelines. Well, you know he's happy to be up by 9, but knowing Jay Roth, he's not happy right now because he does not like the mistakes. And look at him lecturing his young team. He doesn't like his extra point being blocked either. Looked like an outside guy that got there.
He's coaching it right now. He's in that position to step down and make the corner just a little bit wider.
Now watch the field position off the kickoff here into the wind. Paulette wisely hits it low. That's intelligent. Bounces around, picked up at the 14 by Fly, and he put a knee down. He should have been down. His knee was down on the field. He should have been ruled down. They finally say it. That's dangerous. You can't let him keep playing.
No. Unless it was like one of those Joe Morgan type catches last week with the Saints where it looked like his knee was down, but acrobatic to say the least. But no, he was down, so Rummel smart not kicking it up high, squibbing it.
That was a very good kick by Paulette, and Jesuit has to start at its own 19-yard line as a result. Blue Jays, though, have the wind at their backs for the first time in this game. Free as a bird, if you'll pardon the pun, to do what they like to do now. Throw it down the field.
Let's see if it affects his, the wind affects his throw from the back here.
4-man front, and a 4-receiver set for the Blue Jays on 1st and 10. Here's Lee, Menard, and that's the other Kennedy who's outstanding as well. Hard to run against this front. Matthew Kennedy, who moved to defensive line this year, 5'11", 220, and he's been outstanding all season long. What a drive by Rummel. Their second lengthy scoring drive, and that's Rummel football.
And again, they're keeping Tanner Lee and the Jesuit group off the field. It's a tough situation.
2nd and 10, no gain from the Jesuit 19. They shift receivers around. Now they'll overload to the right. Jesuit moves. Merriman saw movement, and he got off early. That's, to my knowledge, that's the first penalty on Jesuit that I can recall.
Yeah, it is tonight. And on that first down call, nothing going there, so they're going to be looking at a 2nd and 15. They've got to kind of settle down here, regain their poise. They lined up wrong. That was the whole problem. Fly was on the wrong side of the field, or on the wrong side of the formation.
2nd down and 15. Jesuit at their own 14-yard line, 7:30 and counting first half, 16-7 Raiders on top. And a 3-receiver set. Hackney to the right. It's man coverage from Bennett. Rummel showing blitz. Jesuit rolls away from the blitz. Lee looking, can't find anybody, just finally throws it away as he gets buried by Terrence Jones.
On the spot, right there on the spot. Really good job of playing the middle of that and then coming up, seeing Tanner Lee with his sprint that way, coming up and making putting pressure on him and making a tackle before or right after the ball was released. So looking at a big 3rd down and 15.
And Jones is a great story. Mark, I know you know this. He was a running back, a starting running back as a freshman on a team that, had a great season, went to the Dome ultimately, and then he was asked to do something very unselfish and move to defense.
Well, and they did the right thing with him because he is all over the place. He is an exceptional defensive football player.
Jays 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Here's a 3rd and 15 against the 3-man front. They're going to run the ball against it. And a cutback by Menard. He'll never get there. Look at the wave of red flying to the ball. Guess who? Terrence Jones, who got some help on the play from Dwayne Eugene. They just get to the ball very, very quickly.
And take note here, he's on the opposite side of the football. Pretty far on the opposite side of the football. He's going to dash right across your screen. There he is. Whoa, look at him close.
Now Graham, who's been extremely busy, will punt with the wind at his back. Let's see how Franklin handles this one. He'd better back up a little bit more. He does to about his 40. Good snap from center with pressure, got it away, kicks it, a line drive, and that's going to work out very well for Jesuit as Franklin let it go. And this is going to end up being a bomb for the Blue Jays all the way down. It's going to be down at about the 15-yard line and maybe the 14, and that's That's one of those you want to come field, Mark. But again, based upon what happened previously, I guess Rummel was playing it cautious.
Sure, and it was more of a line drive than it was a hanger.
62-yard punt. That will get it done. WHNO thanks Louisiana Lift for their support of tonight's telecast, specializing in customer service on equipment, rental, parts, and training. Louisiana Lift has been serving its customers since 1980. Check them out online at lalift.com or call their New Orleans area office at 463-3400. Worst starting field position for Rummel into the win at their own 14-yard line. Jesuit has them pinned back where they want now. On 1st and 10 for the Raiders, they'll run a counter play to the right and nowhere to go. Stack it up, blow it up, no gain.
Jays really have to play some tough defense right here. They cannot give up another 10, 11, 12 play drive right now at this venture in the game. They'll be worn out by halftime.
Yeah, Jimmy Mickler on the stop for Jesuit. No gain, 2nd and 10. It's a big series for Jesuit. They get a stop. They're going to get tremendous field position.
Without a doubt, and a little bit more comfort. You know, I felt like they were out of their comfort zone. Were maybe panicking a little bit on that last series. Didn't have too much to go to.
2nd and 10. Rummel at its own 14. Twin backs next to Williams. First time we've seen that. And a read play on an option to Phillips. Nicely defended. He gets about 4, but a good job of staying home on the play for Jesuit and forcing him inside by Ryan Helm.
Good call. They made a living against St. Augustine with lead option. That wasn't quite lead option, but made a living with it, getting into the secondary against St. Augustine. No stranger here.
Here's an interesting stat as we watch the option play. Well executed by Rummel. Just gets 5 yards. Well played by Jesuit. And there's Joseph on the backside to get there. But neither team has converted a 3rd down yet in this game, which is remarkable. That speaks volumes about the defense. It's 3rd and 5 from the 19. And a keep by Williams. He stacked up, broke one tackle, fights forward, and he might have it.
Close.
That's just strength by Williams, and he looks to have it.
Yeah, it is.
At about the 25-yard line. That's what happens when you have a 215-pound quarterback.
Cool. Hey, Blue Jays slanted to the tight end side there and then sent another defender off the corner, which disrupted it a little bit, and he did get the 1st down.
It's big for Rummel because it operates that clock some more into the win. 4:50 to play. Now each team has 3 timeouts to utilize here.
But if you're Jesuit here, you've got to put the brakes on. You know, again, Rummel will drive it all day long, mistakes or not. They'll drive it all day long.
Twin receivers, 1 to each side on 1st and 10. Fulton is the deep back. And a counter play to the right. Fulton on a cutback, fights forward for about 4.
You know, it's a 4-yard gain right there that should have been pretty much stopped at the line of scrimmage. And it goes back to what we were saying before about these backs after the first hit, really grinding it out and gaining a few more yards. I'd love to know the stat on that. I know Jay keeps it, but hasn't shared it.
2nd down and actually a long 5. Give him 5 on the play at the 29-yard line. Snap it to Williams. Give it to Fulton. Fulton dives across the 30 to about the 32. So picks up 3. It's going to be 3rd down and 2 yards to go for the Raiders as we tick under 4 minutes to play in the first half. And this is what you expect from Rummel, especially going into the win.
Sure, absolutely. You know, just keeping it on the ground, not doing anything crazy with it, staying pretty basic. Good stop by the Jesuit front right there.
Tonight's fact of the game is brought to you by Academic Dermatology Associates, located near Lakeside Mall in Metairie. This year marks the first time Rummel has been ranked number 1 in the state polls. Have been for several weeks now. Rummel now 1 of 5 on 3rd down. Here's 3rd and 2. Williams wants to run it himself, and he gets the 1st down and a lot more, just running through people. And again, Rummel clearly has established the line of scrimmage. They are the better team up front in this football game in the first half.
So far they are. You're right about that. And you know what? I'm not seeing Jesuit move as much. You know, it used to be throughout the year we're seeing them move every down. And looks like they were playing base front right there, enabling Williams to sneak through.
Nice job of pulling on the play and leading by Ryan Hanley. 1st and 10 from the 43. Fake it, they want to throw. Pump fake. He's going to gun it for all he's worth, and Rick's got bumped off the route. Now he gets knocked down. That's an obvious flag. And that simply wasn't necessary because the play wasn't going to happen, but it was a clear. infraction against Jesuit. Ricks gets knocked down by William Wall, and that's going to cost Jesuit 15 yards.
That ball was headed straight for the canal over there. It was thrown so far.
Did you see how far he threw that ball?
Yeah, he chunked it. He really chunked it, and that's, again, into the wind. And this looks like an accident, this contact. No, it's not.
No.
No, he popped him pretty good.
He didn't know where the ball was, I'm
Right.
sure. That's the only explanation.
Gave him a nice stiff arm to the chest, and that'll cost him 15.
Right. So we wait for the line of scrimmage to be finalized here. They mark it off. Under 3 minutes to play in the half. 16-7 Rummel on top of Jesuit. Ken Trahan, Mark Sanji, Danny Ream with you from Joe Yenny Stadium.
Watch for Rummel. Jay Roth and his staff, they've always done a great job of this, of taking this final 2 minutes and 59 seconds and keeping the ball and putting some points on the board.
From the Blue Jays 41 against a 50 front this time. Counter play right with Phillips. Good lead block and a good stop by Jesuit. The flag comes down late behind the play for holding. It'll be the first holding call against Rummel, but yet another penalty, and that comes behind the play.
Yeah, that's going to cost them. Again, you know, they're going to keep the ball longer here. It's still going to cost them, but may have to bring up a throwing situation. Right now would be a good time to do it if you're going to throw.
Phillips comes limping toward the sideline, favoring his right leg. He missed a game 2 weeks ago with a right leg contusion. And
He's
again,
a little
their
banged
biggest
up,
back.
but I tell you what, he lowers his shoulders and runs pretty hard. Got some nice speed to him and some nice vision.
All the way back to the Rummel 46-yard line on the penalty. So this was a spot foul, so this is a huge one.
This will be a screen here.
So
This is
first
a-
down from the 46, 23 yards to go. Williams wants to run a draw and does. Got a good block, cuts in, 50, 45. That's a good play for Rummel to the Jesuit 44-yard line, picks 10 of those yards up.
Got a
on
lot
the
of
play.
it back. Yeah, Jesuit, the Blue Jay defense was expecting a pass there. I thought a screen would have been a good call right there, but Damian Williams pulling it down is an even better call.
Good look at Leger, and let's take a look at the Ultimate Student Athletes, brought to you by the Chad Marcia Foundation. Trey Leger, 4.39 GPA, Honor Society, Solidarity Group, heck of a football player, and a better student. Counter play right, Fulton in trouble, and he's going to be wrapped up for maybe a yard gain. Good job for Jesuit on the backside of wrapping him up by number 44, and that's Brandon Munster, the senior linebacker of the Blue Jays.
Really well played right there. Again, like you said, Ken, by the Jesuit defensive front.
And now the ultimate student athlete for the Rummel Raiders, Patrick Clabbert, 4.55 GPA Student Council, Honor Society, 30 ACT, and he'll be playing Division I college football next year.
And a gigantic young man.
He's pretty big.
Yeah. Maybe the biggest guy on the field for both sides.
I'm sure he is. It's 3rd and 12 Rummel at the Jesuit 43. Minute 40 and counting. Rummel in no hurry here. They're going to take a timeout is what's going to happen. Jay Ross just letting the clock wind down. Smart move on his part. You got 3 timeouts left, and you really want to shorten this game when you're into the win.
Absolutely. He'll take a shot to the end zone here in one of the next few plays. Like to see what he's got up his sleeve right here. Maybe some kind of a rollout and throw back.
All right, we'll take the break. A minute 33 to play first half. Rummel 16, Jesuit 7 on the first NBC Rep Football Showcase. Rummel at the Jesuit 43. Minute 33 to play in the half. Keith Fulton, by the way, 15 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown for the Raiders. This is the 10th play of the drive. All runs, remember, they started at their own 14.
It's a helpless feeling if you're a Blue Jay offensive coach to not be able to have the ball in your hands.
Williams wants to throw and does to Fulton. Fulton shook a tackle, looks for the cutback, made a heck of a move. Look at Fulton, he almost broke it. Down to the 20-yard line and a first down. He is a really good football player.
Gifted player. Look at, watch him, his swivel hips and everything. And, you know, they're just rotating these backs in and out. So, you know, you don't have one workhorse. You can pull him out, put another guy in that's probably just as good.
It's just an outstanding individual effort by Keith Fulton. Well-delivered ball by Williams.
Yeah, very catchable ball right there. And nice awareness right here, breaking back into the field.
From the 20-yard line for Rummel. Fake it, Williams rolling to the right, looking at Carter. Throws it down the field instead for Ricks, incomplete.
Well, you had the tight end or the fullback in the flat right there, decided to go high. Normally on that, you look low to high. However, if that high route, the deeper route is screaming open, you throw it. So I think he took a chance there. He'd probably like to have that one back.
Yeah, because give me a chance with Carter at 6'4", 235. He's
Absolutely.
run through tackles all season long.
And he's fast. He's playing fast, especially for a kid that size.
Rummel with 11 first downs here in the first half. 2nd and 10 at the Jesuit 20. Fulton the deep back. Williams will be under center this time around. Counter play right. Fulton set up the block nicely. What a cut! Here's Fulton to the end zone. Ball comes out, and then they say he was across. He was not. Touchback, Jesuit ball. Wow! Right as he was crossing the goal line, he's hit and fumbles, and Jesuit recovers. You talk about a game-changing play, and I'd love to see it again. That was awfully close.
He did it all on his own, too. Watch, Jesuit fits very nicely here to the counter side, and he's going to make what a block right there, and that's our man again.
Ethan Carter.
Nice job. Whoa,
wow.
What a nice job right there by, I believe that was Helm again.
Yeah, Ryan Helm made a tremendous play to get it out with 51 seconds left. Jesuit dodges a tremendous pull. A third turnover for Rummel, and the Blue Jays won't sit on it, I assure you. Lee wants to throw. Has time. Throws deep middle, and he's got Alexander, who gets blown up, but he held on. First down, Jesuit at midfield. Tremendous hit by Dwayne Eugene, but Mitchell Alexander holds on to the 49. That's a gain of 29. 43 seconds left. What a change this is.
He took a hit to Tanner Lee did. Mitchell Alexander, we saw take a tremendous hit right there. But Lee sets his feet, knows he's got to buy himself some time, knows he's going to get hit, and throws just a rocket right over on that post route to Alexander. And, boy, Jesuit wasting no time wanting to get points on the board here before the half.
No, and the thing about it, aside from the fact that they throw the ball so well down the field, is that it's a team with the wind at their back that the field goal becomes a weapon as well.
Absolutely, without a doubt, and they take a lot of pride in their kicking game. You know, it could make it a 16-7 game here, maybe even a 16-14 game here at half without much time left.
From the Blue Jay 49, Jesuit has 2 timeouts remaining. Rummel with a 3-man front. They'll play coverage. Lee will survey. Now they rush 4. Pump fake. Heavy pressure. Got it off. And incomplete. Or did he pick it? Dontrell Bennett saying he picked it, but not getting the call. And again, Lee got buried by Kennedy. He is taking a lot of hits.
He got hit by Kennedy, and Kennedy was actually picked up on the blitz. Skiro stepped in there and gave him a nice pop. He ran right through it and caught Lee right in the stomach.
2nd and 10, 37 seconds left. That's just a good job by Kennedy.
Yeah.
And ball hit the ground. Lee wants to throw. Steps up, delivers down the middle, diving effort. Did he catch it? The answer is no. Incomplete.
Huh. Looks like
incomplete pass.
Really looked like he came up. It's a well-thrown ball.
Officials are going to talk about it. 2 signaled incomplete, 1 signal complete. It is incomplete. 2 are going to win over 1.
Sure.
Great effort by Alexander.
Nice again. The post route right there that's open, coming back from his right to his left. And I think he's more comfortable throwing that ball as well. Wade Kaiser's got a little bit of reason to be upset there. Too bad we don't use replay in these games, but it's
we've
cold and it would take
a couple of plays here, including the one in the end zone.
Yeah,
it was about as close can get. 3rd and 10 from the 49-yard line. Lee shotgun. Rolling. away from pressure. That's a good idea. Throws down the field and right through the hands, almost intercepted by Demarius Crawford. Rummel had it defended very well.
He had Alexander wide open on the shorter of the two outs there, but really wanted to get more yardage out of it and rifled it.
Okay, Mark, here's the question. I think you go for it here with 23 seconds left because Rummel has no field goal whatsoever.
Plus the wind.
And the wind. I think you go for it, but it looks to me like they're going to punt.
I do too. It might be something up his sleeve right here. Could be a time for a fake. You certainly don't lose anything by it.
And Rummel's been coming after these punts. I would expect they'd play it safe here.
They are.
Looking for the fake. And if you're Rummel, you don't want to field this punt at all.
It's going to be a three-man rush.
And they kick it away from the returner, Franklin. It's going to bounce inside the 10, inside the 5. Look at this punt.
Nice.
All the way down about the 2, so you're going to make Rummel snap the ball twice, and you never know with the way this half has gone. I mean, if you're Rummel, you're kicking yourself in the backside over and over again here in the first half because you've clearly been the better team, but 3 turnovers and penalties have just crushed them.
Better team with a caveat of the amount of mistakes that have been made. And
you have to give credit to Jesuit for forcing a few of these mistakes as well.
Absolutely. And if you're Rummel and if you're able to get rid of these mistakes, man, sky's the limit.
13 seconds left. That was a 49-yard punt for Graham, who has been the busiest player on the field here in the first half.
He sure has.
Williams under center. You know he's just going to sneak it. You can't take a knee. You're too close to the goal line, so he sneaks it to the line of scrimmage. Let's see if Jesuit calls timeout. It doesn't look like they will. So the first half is going to expire, and the number 1 ranked Rummel Raiders will take a 9-point lead to the break, 16-7 over the Jesuit Blue Jays here at Joe Yanni Stadium before a packed house. We'll take the timeout. Our halftime show forthcoming, and we'll check in with Danny Ream coming back. 16-7 Rummel on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase.
You know,
Rummel on top of Jesuit. Kent Trahan, Mark Sanji. Let's check in with Danny Ream down on the field. Danny?
Thanks, Ken. We're here with Jay Roth, head coach of the Rummel Raiders. Tough first half, 16-7, but your offense is moving the ball nicely.
We have. It should be 24-7. You fumble into the end zone. That's very disappointing because a team like Jesuit, you can't give them a 9-point lead. It's ridiculous. We fumble.
Absolutely. What's your adjustments at the half?
Well, 3 big plays. Get burnt on out and up. We muff the punt and we fumble in the end zone. We need to take care of ourselves.
Best of luck.
All right.
Thank you. That's head coach Jay Roth. Back up to you, Ken.
All right. Noticeably unhappy, as he should be, even though his team's up by 9, 16-7. Halftime here at Joe Yanni Stadium. It is 16-7, and our halftime show is brought to you by Big Easy Scooters. Big Easy Scooters, proud sponsor of the first NBC Prep Football Showcase here on WHNO. Thanks to Big Easy Scooters for their support as the masses look on a cool evening. Big Easy Scooters at 3926 Magazine Street in New Orleans. Interesting first half, to say the least. Rummel's side, I think they're pretty happy overall, but they're probably also saying to themselves, this game could be out of reach by now if we would have taken care of the ball.
It really could be out of reach right now, and with Rummel getting the football back first in the second half, and Jay's upset. I get that for sure. You watch him coach. You watch both sides coach. They're preaching excellence all the time. They're wanting to correct these little mistakes. Those things don't go unnoticed in film. They don't go unnoticed in practice. But, it's a game of mistakes. Bob Conlon used to say it all the time. The team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to win. And right now, Rummel's able to overcome that with some big plays, some great players, and a great scheme.
I think it speaks to how good a football team they are, that they can overcome that in this situation. But Jay Roth's right. You can't continue to make those kind of mistakes against a quality football team and expect to escape in that situation.
And if it doesn't bite them tonight, it's going to bite him later on, and he knows that, and that's what's bothering him.
Well,
right
we
now.
had that in our keys tonight, and boy, our keys are turning to be our prophetic, as not taking any credit. But when we analyze, we look at situations, we think about what might be important, and that was one of the keys was the turnover margin. Because here's why: we mentioned that Tanner Lee's not throwing a pick this year. Now there were a couple of balls that had a chance to be picked in the first half against Rummel. But here's the thing about Rummel: despite the fact that they are number 1 in the state and they've dominated the opposition, they are a 0 turnover margin on the year. They've turned
Exactly.
it over. Now they're -3 on the year.
Right,
15
right.
turnovers, and they've only taken it away 12 times.
They were 12-12 walking into this ball game. That's something that sticks out. You want to be on the plus side of that. They talk about it in the NFL all the time, and you can really take that statistic and compare it to wins. It's definitely appropriate here.
16-7, Rummel on top of Jesuit. Let's check in with Danny Ream once more. Danny?
Thanks, Ken. I'm down here on the field with Casey Cadella, the admissions director at Archbishop Rummel High School. Casey, thanks for being with us here at the half. You just had open house. Tell us about the admissions process at Archbishop Rummel.
We had a great event on Thursday night. Had about 400 visiting students on campus. Had about 200 parents, 200 alumni. It was really a great event. Students led the tours and people really enjoyed themselves. Had a whole bunch of spend-a-days already this year. We still have 2 left coming up on November 1st and November 9th. It's been great numbers. Kids have been coming out to experience what it's like to be a Raider every day on campus. And anybody out there that's interested in coming for a spend-a-day, just contact the admissions office. You can call me and we can set that up for those 2 dates remaining. It's been very positive so far in the response, and we're looking for those applications are due in about 2 weeks, so we'll be hoping to get some good numbers this year with that.
And I know there's a lot of excitement on campus on Severn Avenue with Brother Gale being on campus, the Christian brothers reasserting themselves right there on the campus. Tell us about that excitement.
Having Brother Gale back has been tremendous. This is his 4th stint at Rummel and his 1st year back now, and people are really excited. Alums are coming back to campus and getting tours from Don Stout, our alumni director, and he's able to walk around and meet the students. He's brought some other Christian brothers back to speak on retreat and different special events that we're having. So having this connection back with the Christian brothers has been tremendous for our current students, for our alumni, for our parents, and people are able to relate to that heritage and tradition that we have for the past 50 years now on Severn Avenue.
All right, thanks a lot. That's Casey Cadella, the admissions director at Archbishop Rummel High School. You're watching the Big Easy Scooters halftime show. We'll be back.
It's halftime at Joe Yenny Stadium. Rummel on top of Jesuit, 16-7. Rummel band performed. The Jesuit band on the field now performing. Ken Trahan, Mark Sonji, and our halftime show is brought to you by Big Easy Scooters at 3926 Magazine Street in New Orleans. Big Easy Scooters, proud sponsor of the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. As the band and the young ladies perform on the field, first half statistics reflect a pretty interesting game. They tell a story, and yet they're a little bit misleading because Rummel dominated this first half of football. Jesuit basically had one play, their opening play of the game, and since that time, they've really struggled to establish anything on offense, whereas Rummel did what they wanted on offense, 287 yards in one half, and yet only a 9-point lead.
And the 2 turnovers were killers. Jesuit's got 1 there, and actually it was 3, yes.
There's 3 turnovers for Rummel.
You know, the rushing yards for Jesuit, so, 28 yards, that's you're not going to win a ball game like that. And then the 88 yards, of course, you're going to see Lee come out and open up here in the second half. He's got to do that. They're going to have to throw it a lot more. They're going to have to stay ahead of the chains. They're going to have to keep Rummel off the field. They're just holding on to the ball too long.
Yeah, halftime stats brought to you by Roser's Fine Dry Cleaning in Kenner. Roser's Fine Dry Cleaning at Williams Boulevard, 443-3231. Thanks to Todd Roser and their support. Of course, just to let people know, that stat is wrong on your screen. It's 3 turnovers for Rummel, none for Jesuit. So that's clearly the case. Want to make sure you understand that to illustrate about how the numbers add up and why the game is the way it is. That's primarily the way it is. It's 3 for Rummel and 0 for Jesuit, and yet that's why Rummel only leads by 9. They'll get the ball first to start the second half, and it's very important. I know we always say the first possession of the second half is important, but I think it's going to be the case on both. Let's look at some of the top plays that we saw in the first half. Here's Williams on the roll here, and pretty good on the move.
Really good on the move, and really throws a nice, catchable ball. You can't harp on that enough. Sometimes the ball's just thrown up in the air, the receiver runs underneath it and makes great catches. These right in the hands. And why? Here's a nice run right here. This is the fumble.
This is the one that is the fumble. He made a great run. Tremendous blocks, by the way. Look at the effort here. Grabbing him by the shirt, punching it out. I mean, that's about as close as you can be because you can't tell the line. Clearly he was crossing the line, but was he across or not? Not possible to tell by that angle. You simply have to trust the officials for making the call on the spot.
Exactly. They're right there right down there on the spot. And terrific effort by the Jesuit defense, not giving up on a play, which would have been easy to give up on because he had nothing but grass in front of him.
Second half to come. Very, very high seed in the district championship, certainly on the line here to come in the second half. It's Rummel 16, Jesuit 7. A timeout, second half coming up when we return from Joe Yenny Stadium on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. 16-7 Rummel on top of Jesuit as we get set to start the second half with the teams coming back onto the field. Ken Trahan, Mark Sanji, Danny Ream with you. And the third quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by Delary Camarda Realtors. Visit their website at nolahomefinder.com. That's Delary Camarda Realtors. Monday nights on WHNO Sports. Join us for Sports NOLA TV. Brian Alley Walsh and Torrance Small join me each week to break down the Saints college and prep action. That's Sports NOLA TV Mondays at 6 here on WHNO TV. Second half getting set to begin, and again, wind will be a significant factor, and you got to make hay when you've got the wind at your back. Ironically, Jesuit scored into the wind, the only opportunity they had, but I think you were right on it. I think that was largely a case of not only did Rummel bite on the play, but I got to believe they didn't think that they were going to try to go deep into the wind.
I didn't think either. We were down there earlier, and it was a tough wind. Watching the quarterbacks deal with it, the kickers deal with it. It's a tough wind to throw into, but Tanner Lee made it look pretty easy.
Jesuit will kick off to start the second half, but they will have the wind at their backs. Rummel will receive, so again, this game is still for the taking. Joseph Eustace will kick it off, and again with the wind at his backs, good chance to get it into the end zone. Joshua Franklin will be deep to receive for Rummel.
Yeah, you know, and at halftime, we saw Jay Roth before going into halftime. You know, he's really concerned at this point. This is a tight football game right now, and it really shouldn't be had Rummel taken advantage of its opportunities and not made so many mistakes.
Rummel's two biggest wins of the year against St. Augustine and West Jefferson, they separated themselves before the half with scores.
Yes.
And almost did so here, but did not kick off into the end zone. That is a touchback as anticipated. And Rummel will start from its own 20-yard line. The Raiders offense with 287 yards in the first half. That's about as potent as you can be, but only 16 points.
That's a full ball game worth of offense. Now, you know, Jesuit really needs to tighten up defensively right here. Make something happen. At least stop with the bleeding, you know.
So 1st and 10, Rummel at its own 20. Two wide receivers. This time they've got Carter lined up as the up back to the left. You know they're going to run behind him if they run. And they do, pitching it that way. Gets a good lead block, good tackle at about the 25-yard line on Fulton. He picks up about 5. And a good job of getting to the football by Colby Semino, who's played good for Jesuit. Still a gain of 5, and it's 2nd and 5.
They're picking up 5 on first down, looking into a second and medium situation, and they can dictate. Watch the lead block here, something else. Staying attached.
He's the best I've seen in a long, long time, and I say that unequivocally. I watch games all the time, and he just stays on those blocks.
Stays on them, that's the thing, staying attached.
2nd and 5, man in motion right. Williams on a cutback. Made a good move. Look at Williams. Great block. Another cutback. They can't get him on the ground. Damian Williams, like a man possessed, to the 49-yard line. 24 yards and a first down, Raiders.
They had him dead to rights, and he just kept churning his feet. Something else. 24-yard gain. Here he comes. The fake, pulling it right back down. He's got really great vision. And look, he stopped on a dime and turned it right up the field. It's just a heavy dose of what they were having success with early on.
Rummel at its own 49-yard line. Again, Carter the up back, and that's a change from the first half. We'll talk about that. Here's Phillips. He's stacked up, but he still fights forward for about 3.
Well, that's your chance if you're Jesuit to stop him, 2-3 yards on first down and put him in a second and long situation. But a second and medium, tough situation to stay out of.
Give him 2. It's 2nd down and 8 from the Jesuit 49. And again, Carter was lining up at tight end in the first half. Now they've got him lining up in the backfield. Talk about the difference.
They're just moving him around to use him as a lead type blocker, to get an angle, maybe to slip him out into a route behind the tight end, which you might see.
Phipps in motion. Williams will keep, and now whistle sound. False start, Rummel again. So they put themselves behind the chains with these false starts all night.
This just drives you crazy, and it's just it's a matter of focus. It really is. A matter of knowing the play, coming to the line of scrimmage, not paying attention to anything but that snap count.
So now they'll play a 2nd down and 13 from the 47-yard line. Oh, actually, they're going to mark it at about the 46. That's like a 6-yard penalty.
Yeah. You know, you hate to pay for the same real estate twice because
You really do.
you're just fighting so hard to get what you get.
4 receivers set. Williams wants to throw. Now he'll run it to the 50 and back to where they were, to about the Jesuit 47. So it becomes a manageable 3rd down and about 6 yards to go.
Third
he
medium.
will always fall forward, won't
Yeah, he should. All their backs do. They really do. I mean, they're lowering their shoulder, falling forward. Here he comes right here, just taking it right back down. And they're really pass protecting on that. That's not a designed, well, I'm sure it's a designed run, but they're not run blocking it.
Good job by Ryan Hanley and Randy Bonner blocking on that play. Here's a 3rd and 6 from the Jesuit 47. Fulton is in the backfield with Williams, and he has a 3 receiver set. And now the whistle sound. I think Jay Roth may want a timeout. He does. Saw something he didn't like there, and he'll take the break, so will we. 9:27 to play 3rd quarter. 16-7 Rummel over Jesuit on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. Kent Trey and Mark Sanji, 3rd and 6. Rummel from the Jesuit 47-yard line. 9:27 to play here in the 3rd quarter. And Jay Roth called a timeout. Leaves him with 2. What purpose was that for, Mark?
I think the way it looked like from up here was that they had the wrong personnel in, or they were lined up in their formation wrong. And you can't do that. They didn't have enough time on the play clock to get it off.
As a coach, you hate to use timeouts early, but you don't want an abortion there, do you?
You don't want to be in a bad play. You know, we believed in that growing up. You know, you want to stay out of as many bad plays as you can. And
Fulton in the backfield with Williams on 3rd down and 6. Damian steps up. He'll throw to Fulton, who caught it. Can he make someone miss trying to get to the corner? The answer is no. Great defensive play. That's a terrific defensive play for Jesuit in the open field, and that's what you have to count on. Jimmy Mickler is there to make the play, and that's a terrific play.
The Jays baited him into throwing that. There was a curl route behind it. Linebacker sank underneath it. Mickler did. Sank underneath it and forcing the shorter of the 2 throws.
That was the play before, the false start that really stopped Rummel's drive here.
Yeah, it really did.
Penalty killed him, and now Zach Paulette has to punt into the wind for the first time today, so let's see how he deals with this. Alexander is deep, and he wisely kicks it low. It's a smart kick. It's going to go sideways, and that's a really good job by Paulette. It's going to be down at about the 17-yard line. That's what you want to do. Kick it low and away from the receiver.
Kick it low, away from the receiver, let it roll.
29-yard punt, no return. Jesuit gets it for the first time in the 2nd half, trailing by 9. If you are interested in purchasing a DVD copy of tonight's game, send an email to prepdvds@aol.com. A representative of DW Productions will contact you with more information. Jesuit with the win at their own 17 with a 3 receiver set. Lee in shotgun. Single back with him. Draw play. Nice cutback, stood up by Kennedy, and look at the red shirts come. They just run to the football as well as anybody you'll find.
They sure do. They sure do. That's a great example of it right there. And counter's the way to go. You know, get them flowing in one direction, come back the other. But they've just really got enough speed to come back.
And that's an acceptable 4-yard gain on first down. Make it 2nd and 6, and it keeps the defense honest.
Yes, absolutely. Skiro goes out for a play.
And Chamont comes in, play fake Lee, pump fakes, wants to go down the field, throws short instead, got his man, and it should be a first down. Nice throw and catch. Kalen Menard caught it in traffic. Not an easy throw to make there in a bracket coverage.
No, it's not, and he makes a nice grab, and it looks like we've got a first down coming up here.
Sure does. Right on the marker at the 27-yard line. They're staring it down. From my vantage point, I think he's got it, and they do give it to him. First down and 10 for Jesuit.
And the official on the other side was pointing and signaled that Coach Kaiser wondering why it's taking so long to get this thing moved.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's talking to that sideline official, and I agree.
Mark it and let's move.
Thank you. Because it's tempo.
Absolutely.
They want to go. They're the hair.
It's, you know what? Now that looks like they're going to stop and measure it.
Well, no, it's a first down. They're moving the chains. But, I mean, this has clearly stopped their momentum. They like to get it and go.
And they've been so good at it all year, just keeping that high, quick tempo. And when you get out of that, oh, man, it just takes you, sometimes takes you a while to get back into it.
After this long wait, it will be 1st and 10 Jesuit at their own 27-yard line.
Long and cold wait on top.
I hear you. Menard is the deep back, twin receivers left. Off the fake Lee. In the seam, caught it. And that's Dante Fly for a first down to about the 40. Jesuit getting a little something going here.
Yeah, you know what I've noticed too, what they're doing with Tanner Lee is they're shortening his drop. So the ball's getting out of his hands a little bit quicker on those play fakes.
To the 41. That's a 14-yard gain for Jesuit. Again, no huddle. And they're ready to go. Against the 3-man front. Now a fourth comes up. They'll run it. And a nice dive to about the 46. That's 5 yards for Skiro. Again, he's their toughest back.
He is. And this is a nice mix-up. Run, pass, trying to keep the Raiders off balance, and they're in a great 2nd and 5 situation.
2nd down and 5. Off the fake Lee, got him going one way. Looks, he's going to throw down the field, and Bennett knocks it down.
Play.
What a play by Dontrell Bennett, intended for Fly. That's just an outstanding play.
He actually came across his body with his left hand and put it out in front.
Jesuit ready to go. They're on the ball, 3rd and 5. Rummel needs to hurry up and set up defensively. They're not ready.
Snap
on 3rd and 5, Jesuit 0 for 5 on 3rd down. Can they get a conversion here?
Rummel sending some heat.
They're coming. In trouble. Got away from one. And he's going to get the first down and more. What a job by Lee. Out of bounds inside the Rummel 40. That's all Tanner Lee.
Great play right there. Rummel sent 7 that time. 7. Jesuit didn't have enough to pick it up. Lee did some magic with his feet. Sidestep. No throw there. Headed to the near boundary and picked up the first down.
17 yards, easily the best sustained drive Jesuits had in the game.
And the first 3rd down conversion for the Jays tonight.
Indeed. At the Rummel 38 with the I formation. Running play into a stone wall as big Mr. Franklin is waiting on him and throws him straight to the turf. No chance there for Kalen Menard. When you look at Franklin, he's all of 280, and he's a junior.
He blew that up right away from his nose guard spot right there.
2nd and 10 at the 38. Single back. Running play. Dragged down by Kennedy at about the 35.
You know, the Jesuit backs really aren't falling forward after that first hit. Credit the Rummel defense for their sure tackling ability there.
Michael Kennedy again. We've called his name all night. Number 37. His brother Matthew. He's 41. His 3rd and 7 from the Rummel 35. Lee off the fake. Heavy pressure. He got it off. Somehow, and that's going to go the distance. Rummel's going to break it open. This is going to go 65 yards. Touchdown. Henry Tolliver. What a play. That's the first interception of the year for Tanner Lee. 66 yards officially. And again, that's all about the pressure.
They read it. It was a great call defensively. Is there a flag?
Now the officials are talking about something. I do not see a flag. No, there is a flag down here at about the 24-yard line. There's a flag way back down the field, and if this is on Rummel, you talk about another game-changing play.
I tell you, they sent...
Here's the official call. Personal foul, Rummel. Is it post-possession or is it pre-possession? That's the question. I think Jesuit's going to get the ball back.
I'd love to know what this call really is.
Jay Roth is on the field, and he's understandably very upset.
Jesuit's huddled up and ready to call
it's their
play.
offense is coming back on the field.
Take that interception off the board, it looks like.
Which won't be the first interception for Lee of the year. This is a huge call. Did not see what may have happened.
Really good call by Eddie Jacquelard, sending 2, and this was their 3rd down.
See if we can spot anything. Yeah, that's Kennedy with the pressure.
Can't see.
No idea what the call might have been.
May have been after the...
Well, it wasn't
Was
after
that-
because
no,
they
right,
gave
exactly.
Jesuit the ball all the way at the Rummel 20, and now a great chance for Jesuit to capitalize on yet another break. And that's clearly a break or a mistake, depending on what
Yeah,
happened,
yeah,
and we really
sure.
don't know. Wish we could tell you, but we're not sure.
I'll be looking at the film in the morning to see.
First
what
and 10
came
from
with
the
that.
20. Run it with Menard, and he gets 5
Nice
to the
job
15.
falling forward on that, yeah. Boy, that was a swing, huh?
Well, you look at this game, and let's be honest, I mean, it's been a one-way game with
Yep.
the exception of one play, but Jesuit has a real chance to win this football
They're
game.
putting a nice drive together here. A touchdown makes this a completely different situation with another quarter and a half to play.
And this is the kind of drive Jesuit's been yearning for all night. Their
Yeah.
11th play of the drive coming up. Second and 6 from the 16-yard line. Lee off the fake. Heavy pressure, and they'll blow that up. Rummel's all over this play. And a great job on the read for the Raiders by Demarius Crawford. Boy, he's a good-looking player. 6 feet, 183 pounds, the senior. There to blow it up. But again, the pressure was huge.
Eddie Jacquelard's getting a beat on what's going on here and sending an extra defender off the corner to the side that the bootleg's coming to, and it's causing pressure on for Tanner Lee. He's having to get rid of the ball a whole lot faster.
Now from the 19, 3rd and 9 for Jesuit. Twin receivers to the wide side, single to the right. Menard in the backfield.
Got to go to the wide side here, at
Looking
least
that
to set
way.
up your kicker.
Throws across his body, and it's caught. Shook one tackle, shook two, but can't shake a third. Fly is wrapped up by Bennett at about the 16-yard line, a gain of 3. So now Jesuit likely will try a field goal.
Looks like they're not moving. Here he's calling them on now.
Well,
Here
with
they
the
come,
wind,
yeah.
you have to do this.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, absolutely. And with the game as tight as it is right now.
Sure. It's a one-possession game
Sure.
if you make this. So 4th down from the 16 and 6 yards to go. And the freshman Crew Jacobs will try the field goal out of the hold of Matthew Hackney.
With the wind at his back.
Wind at his back, 33 yards, angle left. Good snap. He's hit it good, and he has made it.
There you
Good.
go.
So with 3:49 to play, third quarter, Jesuit cuts the deficit to 6 points. It's Rummel 16 and Jesuit 10 on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. This has been a strange game.
Yeah, it sure
16 to 10, Rummel over Jesuit. Jesuit just hanging around, giving themselves a chance. And as Jay Roth said at halftime, you know, you give these guys enough chances. You make those kind of mistakes against good teams, you're going to be in trouble.
Rummel had 2 chances to break their back. Neither one. The fumble in the end zone and the interception for the touchdown called back. Man, you're scratching your head on this. This is the game we thought it would be, though.
Joseph Eustace to kick it off. Gets it toward the side, and Franklin will field it at the 5 with a good catch. 10, 15, 20, 25. Leaves his feet, and there's a late flag, 2 flags, so Rummel's going to start deep in their own territory. And again, they cannot continue to make these mistakes over and over again and expect to emerge victorious.
The penalized yards, I'd like to see what it comes down to, what it's actually cost them. That's got to be an interesting stat tonight. Holding on Rummel, going to march that back.
Yeah, they'll end up back at about their 15, 16-yard line with the wind right in their faces, and still nearly 4 minutes before the third quarter comes to close. So this becomes a huge series. If Jesuit can get the ball back with the wind at their backs.
And like you said earlier, take advantage of it when you have the win, and kind of break even when you don't, and you're in good shape.
At the 15-yard line, Rummel starts with Brandon Phillips in the backfield with Damian Williams and a 4-receiver set for the Raiders. You have to be be questioning themselves a little bit right now
Yeah,
with the
they
way
do.
the game is gone. I know they feel like they've been the better side, but it's not showing up because of the mistakes.
Well, they can remedy that with another 10, 11 play drive like they were
Phillips for
doing so
3.
well.
It will be 2nd down and 7 at the 18. Let's check in with Danny Ream with Joey Latino. Danny?
Thanks, Ken. We're here with Joey Latino, head baseball coach of Retief Oil. The American Legion National Champions were honored before Game 2 of the Major League Baseball World Series in San Francisco. Coach, that had to be amazing. Tell us about it.
Incredible experience. Beautiful city, San Francisco. You're there for the World Series. It's a tremendous atmosphere. And then to be presented on the field with Will Clark, one of our very own, and Joe Torre. It's just an incredible experience that I know the boys are going to remember for the rest of their lives.
All right, that's Joey Latino, head baseball coach at Jesuit, head coach of Retief Oil. What a awesome accomplishment and a great honor before the Major League Baseball World Series Game 2. Ken, back up to you.
And a gain of 1 for Williams on 2nd and 7 makes it 3rd and 6. And here, this becomes a big play for both sides. Again, Jesuit gets the ball back 3 and out with the win. They've got momentum. And Rummel, on the other hand, has to stem the tide here of everything that has gone wrong against them here.
Rummel's getting a little bit conservative right now, and Jesuit's on to it. Great play by the Jesuit front 7 there, and this is a huge first down for the Raiders.
3rd and 6 from the 19 off the fake. Williams rolls right. Looking. He's hit. Shook one, but he's not going to be able to escape the second. Down at about the 20. Picks up a yard, but that's all. And Jesuit gets the stop. Great job defensively by the Blue Jays of staying home.
They had a mistake on the route. It was a two-receiver side to the top of your screen where there's just a bust, and I think he gets confused as to where he wants to put the ball. You can see him stop right there. He's got nothing. Pressure catches up to him, and nice stop by the Jays.
Jesuit's going to get great field position here. Paulette punting into the wind. Hits it low.
Knuckleball.
It bounces past midfield, and that's about as good as you can get. But Jesuit will still have great field position at their own 46-yard line with 1:32 to play 3rd quarter, only trailing by 6.
And Blue Jays on a roll here since the start of the second half.
34-yard punt by Paulette. Here's a look at the upcoming events at Archbishop Rummel, brought to you by Dr. Wynn Rousseau, General Dentistry. For more information on Rummel events, visit their website at rummelraiders.com.
All right, Jays are coming out again. The start of another series. See if they switch it up. They're in the ace formation right now with 1 back, trying to balance up that Rummel front.
From the 46-yard line, Jesuit 1st and 10. Single setback, Menard. And he'll get the ball running left. Bounced it outside, but no chance.
Nope.
Stopped maybe a yard. Terrence Jones again, who's some football player.
He sure is.
Makes
He's on
the
the
stop.
spot.
Gains
Johnny
a
on
yard.
the spot. You're
To
not
the
going to run.
47.
You're not going to run side to side on these guys. You're going to have to mix it up. Maybe hit it in between the tackles. Throw your flat route. Come back to those post routes that they were hitting before.
2nd down and 9. Under a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Off the fake. Got away from one, and Lee again makes another good move. You wondering about his mobility? You're seeing it.
Very good.
I mean, he's just defeating great pressure with his own individual efforts here. And I'll tell you, he's showing a lot of people that he has the feet and the ability to get away from a rush.
We talk about the feet with him a lot just because of him, way he sets his feet and moves around in the pocket. But when he has to run and pull it down, he makes great plays.
It's a gain of 9, and that's a 1st down for the Blue Jays.
Look at that, really good technique on his escape.
Moses had the pressure. Menard hit up and stood up by Matthew Kennedy this time, the junior defensive tackle. Jesuit doing what they can to keep Rummel honest defensively. You got to run it some. They haven't had great success, but they're keeping them honest.
And Rummel, honestly, kind of leaving Lee alone from a run standpoint. Not leaving someone backside or behind or spying him. He's not the type of player you'd spy, but not leaving someone backside to cover that.
From the Raiders' 43-yard line, Lee, pressure again, outside route is caught by Hackney, goes to the ground with a first down at the Rummel 28-yard line. Good throw and catch with 10 seconds to play in the third quarter. They keep the wind at their backs. Now, Jesuit ought to think about a timeout here with the wind at their backs.
Yeah, and you know, Hackney, watch Hackney here. He's going to catch it twice and do a really good job here. I think he had a lot more yards in front of him.
Yeah,
Kind of had to go down
fall
and make
back
sure
to get it, sure.
to grab it.
Now, Jesuit's letting the clock run down, and I guess I'm a little surprised. We'll talk about that when we return in just a moment. Third quarter comes to close. It's turned out to be the kind of game we thought it would be. Rummel 16, Jesuit 10. Fourth quarter to come on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. Ken Trahan, Mark Sanji from Joe Yenny Stadium. 12 minutes to play. Game in the balance. Jesuit driving, trailing Rummel 16-10. And the Blue Jays will have a 1st and 10 at the Rummel 28, now operating into the wind, but already in good position. Jesuit's not thinking field goal anyway. It's all about a touchdown this way.
End at 17-16 if you can. 17-13 won't cut it.
And I'll tell you what, the wind is still prevalent, but it's not as strong as it was earlier.
It's dying down a little bit, yeah.
As I say that, we get a little gust up here, but we're up.
We're still feeling it.
Sure. Menard is the setback. You have twins to either side. As the fourth quarter begins, Rummel showing blitz, and they'll run Menard into the blitz. He broke a tackle. He's gone. Jesuit ties the game. Touchdown, Menard. 28 yards and a touchdown. They defeated the blitz, and now an extra point away from taking the lead.
A great call away from the extra defender coming off the corner. Menard showing some speed there, and a really nice move in sidestepping a would-be tackle.
Crew Jacobs now has the opportunity to give Jesuit the lead. Remember, Jesuit blocked an extra point earlier by Rummel.
Yep.
Those things always come back to haunt you.
Yeah, they sure do.
To put Jesuit on top. And he has done so. With 11:53 to play, a new leader. Jesuit has rallied from behind to take a 17-16 lead over Rummel. I don't know what else you would expect from these two teams that have played 5 overtime games over the years.
Yeah, I've been a part of a few of those. They've been great. Look at that. Nice break of speed there by Kalen Menard.
And the fourth quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating, your local paint store with 6 locations in Southeast Louisiana. Let Helm's home team steer you in the right direction. And here's a look at the upcoming events at Jesuit, brought to you by personal injury attorney Troy Keller. For more information on Jesuit events, visit their website at jesuitnola.org. Well, Jay Roth looks like a prophet now, based upon his comments at halftime. How many chances can you give a team? How many mistakes can you make?
Well, not this many. That's the answer. You know, we talked at halftime a lot about it. It's going to come back and haunt you sooner or later.
Kickoff is going to be short, as you might imagine, and Carter again fields it, and he called a fair catch at about the 26-yard line. So Rummel will get the ball back, and the Raiders are truly in need of something positive to happen here.
Well, they've got the win. They have the ability to drive, now, although they haven't shown it here in the second half. If they put something together, an 11-play drive, again, 11-13 plays, this game will be over before you know it. But,
First and 10 Raiders at their own 29-yard line. The running back will be Fulton, with receivers to either side, and the Jesuit side of the field now extremely excited, as you might imagine. Counter play right.
Helm,
and an outstanding tackle. Helm's got him at about the 30, a 1-yard gain.
Nice play.
If that, just a really good play by Ryan Helm.
Coming from deep at his safety spot there too. Nice angle. Play got pushed outside or spilled outside. Helm comes up, makes a really nice grab.
No gain, 2nd and 10 from the 29.
Rummel's looking a little bit sluggish here right now.
Yeah, they're not crisp getting out of the huddle. A little doubt now, it would seem.
Backs to the wall. I don't think they've trailed yet, anyone this year.
Williams throwing for Fulton. Diving effort incomplete. That's a matchup you wanted if you're Rummel against a linebacker, but that's a good job for the Blue Jays by Jimmy Mickler to stay with a very talented running back.
Right out of the backfield, that's a little dose of trickery from the Rummel staff. Now Rummel staff's pretty hot on the sidelines about it. They thought he was fooled with a little bit on the way out, but obviously the officials didn't see it that way, bringing up a big third down.
So now third downs have been a problem for both sides, and Rummel faces a 3rd and 10. They're 2 for 9 on third down in this game. Dunbar left, Ricks to the right. Williams surveys, looking for Ricks. Nice throw. First down, Raiders. That's a big conversion on a stop route to Ricks.
Gigantic. A little bit too much cushion by Leger right there, who's been really good tonight. Leger has. And ball's on the money. Frozen rope there. 13-yard gain.
And if you're interested in purchasing a DVD copy of tonight's game, send an email to prepdvds@aol.com. A representative of DW Productions will contact you with more information. 1st and 10 Rummel, their own 41, under 11 minutes to play now. Fulton hit at the line of scrimmage, down again, and another outstanding job by Jimmy Mickler. He's played an excellent game.
Watch him step right under this. He sees the puller coming at him, steps right underneath him, forcing the back to spill, gets a hand through, pulls him down. Yeah, you can't play it better than that. That's a one-man stop right there.
Phipps checks in for Rummel. 2nd down and 10 from the 41-yard line. Jesuit doing a much better job on first down defensively.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Rummel was sitting in those 2nd and 5s. Now it's 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. Tough to get out of.
Phipps in motion. We're going to run him on a cutback. Nice cut by Phipps.
Uh-oh!
Phipps broke a tackle. 35, 30. Phipps to the 25. Big run by Ivan Phipps, his first carry of the game. And a first down for the Raiders, and another touchdown saving tackle, and a Rummel lineman down on the play. We'll check that. That's Pierce Bach, who's been really good this year, and he's coming off of an injury as well.
34-yard pop, stopped by Leger, and that's what the Raiders needed. That's going to breathe a little life into him right there.
It's just an outstanding run by Phipps. Yeah, and he's
that's his first
smaller
carry.
And very fast. Yep.
Fresh legs.
So Ivan Phipps, the junior, runs to the Jesuit 25. Pierce Bonk is down for the Raiders. That will certainly affect them up front. Very good football player. That offensive line's been a real strength for this football team all season long. So 17-16 Jesuit, 10:07 to play. Back in a moment with more of the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. Good news, Pierce Bach got up and he was able to jog off the field. May or may not be able to see him again. We'll see. Zach Bernard is in the game for the Raiders. Bach's been hurt some of the year, but Bernard's played quite a bit. You'll have to step in here in a big situation, and you want to watch that
exchange has to be good right here. Yeah, it's an important time.
Zach Stout in there. Over the ball now. On 1st and 10 of the 25-yard line of Jesuit. Tight formation with one receiver to either side. Williams wants to run it inside. Cuts back nicely. Used the block beautifully. Broke another
Still
tackle.
on his feet.
Broke another tackle. He's down to the 10. First down, goal to go, Rummel. Well, I mean, he just set up his blocks beautifully.
Now, what a pain in the neck to really tackle this guy. I mean, he's just such a load. He's a big kid, and he runs like a running back. Patient.
Nice kick out block by Maddox.
Yeah, up front, Rummel's really doing a fine job on this.
First and goal
right
from the 10. Again, a receiver to either side with Rummel lining up with a double slot in front of Williams here. Power formation. Jesuit adjusts to it. Williams wrapped up from behind. He'll be stopped. Really good job by Joseph. Blow the whistle, please. Goodness gracious. How long are you going to let it go?
Yeah. Forward progress was obviously stopped.
Right, that's an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah,
you don't want to see
is.
that. No gain. Second and goal from the 10. Jesuit has been stingy in the red zone in this game. Rummel's had many chances in the red zone.
Absolutely. Jesuit's really stepped up to play on defense when the time calls for it.
And of course, we thank Louisiana Lift and Equipment. Go to lalift.com, 504-463-3400 for providing our lift here this evening. Louisiana Lift and Equipment. Second and goal, Rummel from the Jesuit 10, under 8.5 minutes to play in the game, and they fake it. Williams on trouble, shook a tackle, 10-5, lowers the shoulder and scores! Touchdown Raiders!
Did it by himself there. What a play. Again, what a play.
That's a man.
Yeah, it sure is. We're going to go for 2 here, I believe.
Well, this is an interesting decision to make. I think 2 is the play here, Mark.
Yeah. Nice play fake. Again, the kid has great presence, takes his time, eludes. Worst thing you can do is pressure him, because then he's got to get out on his feet. And man, turn the corner right there, really.
Rummel is going for 2. They changed personnel at the last moment, and Carter's not in the game. You know that's not what they want, so he runs back out there, and J. Roth is going to have to burn a second timeout, and that's critical in a game of this nature.
Communication, and this is something that's set up ahead of time. You think about these calls early in the week, they're on your play card. He's fussing about something, and for good reason. But you're sitting there, this is a play that's worked out on Wednesday, Thursday night.
This copyrighted telecast of the first NBC Prep Showcase may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of DW Productions and WHNO TV. Well, it's a big play because with a make, Rummel's back on schedule. With a 7-point lead, with a miss, Jesuit has the door wide open.
Wins it.
Sure,
right.
Exactly. But it's the right play because a 6-point spread will not win the game for you.
No.
Damian Williams running the football now, 17 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, he's been the go-to guy. Whenever they needed something, they've gone back to him, and he's produced. He's got to be tired.
What do you look for here? I think you run Williams behind Stephen Carter.
I do too. I don't think they're going to throw it into here.
Carter slotted to the left in front of Williams.
I don't think they're going to throw it.
He is looking to throw.
Nice play.
Keith Bolton with a great catch.
That's a whip route, just a little bit to the outside, so you overplay the flat, coming right back underneath. Really well thrown ball. I was like you though, Kenny. I thought he was going to pull it down and run it himself.
Well, I mentioned earlier tonight, Fulton is a really good receiver out in the backfield. He's a heck of a football player, period.
He just pulls this one out of the air.
So with 8:23 to play, Rummel back on top, 24-17 on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. Quite an answer by Rummel, largely on the arm and legs of Damian Williams. And it's 8:23 to play. Raiders up 34-17. That's Zach Paulette to kick it off. Fly stands at his goal line to receive. And this kick is sailing, returnable at the 1. So a chance for Fly for the first time in this direction to the 20, and a flag down for an obvious hold.
That'll be holding, that'll come back.
That was one we could actually see. So Jesuit will start in the soup, so to speak, with 8:14 to play in the win. But remember, we wondered about that in the first half, and on the first play,
wasn't in effect. Yes,
it didn't bother them at all.
And plenty of football left there to be played. 8 minutes and 14 seconds with these two teams is an eternity, especially with clock management.
Well, this in particular is a critical series for Jesuit because they're down 7 with 8:14 to play. They're at their own 10-yard line into the wind. If they don't get the ball out of here, they're going to give the ball back. Great field position.
They can't give Rummel another possession with some with decent field position.
First and 10 from the 10-yard line. Here's Lee to Menard. Short gain, maybe a yard. Bent backwards, stopped at the 11.
You know, you're backed up right here, and you hate to be predictable because you can get teed off on, but at the same time, they're going to have to loosen them up a little bit to get the ball out of this end of the field.
Moses led the charge for Rummel, 2nd and 9 from the 11. This is where you look for a play fake of some sort. Lee's bread and butter.
If you bootleg to the wide side of the field, which is really where you have to go, they're going to send the extra guy off the corner.
That's how they've been able to get away from the enormous pressure of Rummel is with the bootlegs here tonight. From the 11, 2nd and 9. Lee off the play fake as predicted.
Going to Alexander deep.
He's going to Alexander deep, diving effort incomplete. There is a flag down near the line of scrimmage on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So when you see that, you think about offsides maybe, but don't know.
No whistle was blown.
No, they let the play go.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a false start, obviously. No, it is procedure, on Jesuit. So if you're Rummel, you're going to decline this, right?
Right, sure. I think they're going to. No, there they go. They almost took it.
No, you don't want to take that. It's only half the distance anyway.
Yeah.
And it's 3rd and 9. This becomes a critical down on both sides.
Yeah, you don't want to give them another crack at it. 3rd and 9 into the wind again.
2 for 7 on 3rd down, Jesuit tonight. Kalen Menard, 11 carries, 62 yards and a touchdown for the Jays. 3rd and 9 from the 11. Shotgun Lee. Rummel showing blitz, here they come. Lee gets it off down the middle.
Just overthrown, and that's Terrence Jones putting the pressure again on Lee. That just, it just causes the ball to sail a little bit or off the side or a little bit quicker throw than he would like to. You'll see Jones coming in this picture very late right there. Give him a little shove. They had
good coverage by that.
Yeah.
And Foster Morrow, had a little size advantage.
Yeah. Had a really good start to the year.
Now, if you're Rummel, do you try to catch this punt? I don't. With the wind?
I doubt it, right here.
Backfired on them earlier.
That was almost blocked.
Yeah, it was.
And this one is short. Wow, is it short? This is
got a little bit of a bounce to help, but still Rummel's going to have the ball at the Jesuit 35 with a chance to take control of this game with 7:10 to play. It's a 24-yard punt. And that's scouting too. Rummel rushed him knowing he was kicking the ball right to left.
Sure.
And they got pressure from that side.
Well, and if you're Rummel right now with the ball on this near hash on the 40-yard line, you punch it in. You take it right now.
This is where a championship team, which a lot of people believe Rummel is, will take control of the game. We talked about the wind being the biggest factor in this game. Rummel gets it in the 4th quarter.
This has got to be a scoring drive for Rummel. If you're going to end it, if you're going to win it.
Pierce Bonk is back in the game at center. Sure. That's a big plus for the Raiders. Shotgun Williams on 1st down with Fulton next to him. Williams will shook a tackle. Look at him go. And he's just wearing down this defense.
He's going to let the big guy eat right now.
Yeah, I think
that's what they should do. Take as much of the play clock down as you can. And they're in the 2nd and 1. Just take that play clock down. Let the clock keep going. Look, he finds it. It's very well executed. Very well blocked up front.
Patrick Kleibert got his 312 pounds engaged and blew somebody back.
How'd you like him leaning on you for
I wouldn't like
a couple
that at all.
Hours?
107 yards rushing for Williams and a touchdown in this game. 2nd and 1. He'll get it again. He'll get the first down and more. 20, 15, first down Raiders.
Same play.
Just caving them in inside.
They're blocking everything down, pulling the backside guard. He's either getting a kick or a log block and turning it up the field, and Williams is able to pick his spot there.
12 yards and a first down for the Raiders at the Jesuit 14 with 6:21 to play.
Really nice kick out block on the defensive end, Hunter Robert, right there.
Williams makes a nice cut too. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got some cutback ability.
Yeah, he does. He cuts on a dime. He had about a 20-yard run earlier where he did that.
Fulton, the deep back, he'll get the call here. Nice cut by Fulton inside the 10 and the 9. I really like this kid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very shifty back.
He's got very good vision.
Yep. Yeah, and again, that's something you just can't teach. The kid's either got it or you can kind of tweak it a little bit, but if he doesn't have vision to begin with.
Second
tough
and
road.
5. This is where it's been interesting for Rummel all night long. They've thrown the ball 3 times in this half, and that's not a surprise.
But one of them was on a 2-point play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now Phillips, the deep back, on 2nd and 5. Counterplay right with Phillips, used 1 block and gets down to about the 6. So here comes a big 3rd and 2 for the Raiders.
Guess who's going to get it?
Oh, it's got to be
From
Williams,
the gun.
right?
From the
Although
gun.
Fulton's been outstanding, and Fulton's not in the game, so Williams is going to get the ball, I would imagine. Plays coming in with Maddox from the sideline. Clock will tick below 5 minutes to play when the next play is run. 3rd and 2. Rummel at the Jesuit 6, trying to take control of this game.
And they're in the gun right now. No surprise there in the ace formation. Balanced up.
Just
Just
run left,
5.
isn't he?
I would think so.
Carter and Maddox slotted that way. Jesuit stacks that way, though. Williams
Come back to the right
cut
here.
back. He will not
Close.
get there. He's short. Well, depends on the mark. Needed to get to the 4. Let's check the mark.
That is close. They're going to have to measure
And if
that.
you're Rummel, if you didn't make this, you have a very interesting decision to make.
I think if it's this close, you go for it.
On the other hand, a field goal gives you a 2-score
Sure.
lead.
Nice stop. Nice stop by the Blue Jays. Strong front.
They're going to measure this. This is very
is
close,
close.
and I don't know. I can't tell you. It's really probably a tip of the ball either
You know,
way, frankly.
it's a severe angle for the field goal. You need to get points out of it.
You sneak Williams.
You've got a 6'2", 6'3".
Look at this. Tip of the football
Yeah, you
short,
go-
as
go-
I
you
predicted.
Go get this, you know. You go
4th
get it.
down and a foot.
Make them drive 94 yards, which
I
they can.
think
I mean,
you're right.
96 yards, which they can do.
Sure
But,
they can. I think you're right, though. J.
He's gonna
Rod's
kick
calling
it.
his offense over. I don't think he's going to kick it.
The kicker's nowhere around.
They know Damian Williams, Jesuit
Yeah.
does, is going to get the ball, and they expect him to sneak it here, don't
And
they?
you just go from right under the center and get a nice push, and you've got 6 inches to go.
Now, if you're Rummel, do you long count to try to draw them off sides, or do you quick snap?
No, I think that'd backfire on Rummel. You know, with the way they've jumped off sides tonight, that's something I wouldn't do.
Rummel will go for it as we expected. 4th down and a foot. Officially at the Jesuit 5, they need the 4. Carter and Fulton in the backfield with Williams. Look how tight the offensive line is.
Yeah, no secret here.
No secret here. Now Jesuit, I think, is calling timeout.
Yeah,
So
no-
that will
still
be
no
their
secret.
first, and this is a smart move by Wade Kaiser. He wanted to take a look, and this is the play of the game. He's got to get a stop here.
It's going to be it's going to be the same thing. Rummel's not going to change what they're doing. Maybe talk about it a little bit to find out where the soft spot in that front is, and maybe have Williams take a half step back and attack on an angle. But I wouldn't think they're going to change this at all.
You leave it to the quarterback to make the read in that situation.
Yeah.
And Damian Williams, 20 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. He's been a major factor in all facets, as we expected he would be.
Yeah. He's been something else. You know, the problem with Tanner Lee today is he just hasn't had the ball as much. How many plays has this drive been? Even though it's been a short field, he hasn't had the ball in his hands all that much, and the pressure has come. And that's been tough for him. Not that he can't handle pressure. I think he does a great job with it.
Well, look, he's made plays with his feet to step away
sure
from
did.
pressure 2 or 3 times in this game. And it's clear that Rummel has been the better team up front of this game. But Jesuit has hung in this game, took the lead to start this quarter, and they still have a chance. Rummel would like to try to put that to rest right here. 4th and a foot from the Jesuit 5 officially, although the ball is near the 4.
And he's in the shotgun here,
Which
so
is
it's
really
not gonna
interesting.
be,
I'm surprised. He'll get it, he'll run it, he'll score. J. Roth knows what he's doing.
Yep, sure does. That's why I'm up here and he's down there.
That was a cavernous hole, Mark.
Yeah, it was. It's gigantic. And I didn't think he was going to change it, really. Because with a kid like that, fall forward. that.
Look at those blocks. Oh, my.
He
It's
walked in.
textbook blocking, and I know you appreciate that.
And that's
with
my
what you
forte.
coach.
That's my thing. That's the thing I love to watch. And sometimes I get caught up in watching the front and have no idea who's catching touchdowns.
And Paulette will convert. So Jesuit up against it now with 4:30 left to play. Top-ranked Rummel leads Jesuit 31-17 on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. Jesuit side is really well populated too. 31-17 Rummel on top. Paulette's kickoff looks like it's returnable, and it is from the 6-20. Got some room. 25-30. Good return by Mitchell Alexander out across the 30 to the 32 or 3 yard line. Well, he's not been able to reach the end zone with the kickoffs here in the second half.
No. Well, now if you're Jesuit here, you're in 2-minute mode.
Yeah,
Twice.
absolutely. They go no huddle all the time. They're accustomed to this. And if you're Rummel, you've got to make them drive the field.
Absolutely. Can't give up the big one. Start backing your secondary up a little bit. Playing tight up front. The backs aren't going to beat you.
And Jesuit has lived on big plays this year, as we talked about, with Lee averaging over 22 yards per completion. 3 receivers set. Lee surveys, throws back across, and the traffic tipped away. Double coverage, guess who? Terrence Jones. I mean, that's a linebacker getting depth and making a play.
That deep, and if they'd have run the ball, he'd have been in the back. He's a player. I'm telling you, he really is. He's the first guy that caught my eye on film. He's the one that got a hand on it.
I'll tell you what, though, right behind him, you might have had a pick.
Yep.
As Austin Vance looked like he was in position. 2nd and 10. Lee. Pressure, steps up. He's going down this time. Dontrell Bennett put him on the ground. So Bennett puts him down at the 29-yard line, and it's getting tough for Jesuit.
Now, Rummel smelling blood in the water here. Sending an extra guy off the corner, as they've done a lot tonight. Tough to pick up. Very athletic kids coming off the corner there and making some good plays. Tough to pick up, and you got to credit the secondary for holding the coverage that long.
3rd and 14 Jesuit. Off the corner blitz, and Rummel's off sides. No, false start Jesuit, sorry.
Wow.
Joshua Franklin was blitzing from the corner, and he's really fast, but Jesuit flinched. That's the first time we've seen that from the Jesuit offensive front.
I thought Franklin got there a little bit early. Seen that on film,
apparently
too.
There was movement
year.
before he got there. That's no argument, obviously.
Yeah, no
case.
doubt.
But yeah, you know, you see those blitzes at the last minute. It's all about timing. You got to hit it right.
And they do it very well. I've seen them, you know, and it comes with some experience too. They've done that throughout the year. Done a pretty good job with it.
2 for 10 on 3rd down, Jesuit. Lee, play fakes. Hit from behind, got it off deep to nobody. And Lee hit the ground hard. I hope he gets up okay. He does, fortunately. Anytime you get hit in the back like that, that's scary.
Yeah, he's going to have a couple of bruises tomorrow morning.
And the guy that hit him, Delshone Moses, laid into him, and he gets up limping a little bit. But it's been that kind of game on both sides.
I didn't expect anything different. Neither one of these teams are finesse teams.
And now
They're
Jesuit
physical both
has
ways.
a decision to make. Do you go for it on 4th and 18, or do you punt here? It looks like they're going to punt, or at least they're showing it. And again, if you're Rummel, you don't go anywhere near this ball.
No, you punt it. If you Jesuit, you punt it away. Hope somebody makes a mistake. But if you turn the ball over right here, they're getting it.
And Rummel is not
score.
showing anybody to return. They drop the snap. He's in deep trouble. Graham is going to be dropped. He fumbles the football. Doesn't matter who gets it. It's going to be Rummel ball at about the Jesuit 11-yard line. And this one is looking good for the Rummel Raiders.
Yeah. That's a huge mistake right there. You know, any chance you had of getting back into it is pretty much gone now.
In particular, since Rummel's playing safe there, they weren't coming after the kick.
Yeah, just mishandled the ball.
And those two kids
Snap
again,
was fine.
Franklin and Jones, all over the field. Franklin limps off too.
Just mishandled it. Had plenty of time to get it off.
It's Delshone Moses who got him. And now Rummel goes for the kill shot with Damian Williams under center, Carter slotted left, and Fulton behind him. On first down, they're going to run Fulton on a cutback. He'll get a couple. Rummel doesn't mind that at all.
I think at this point you save Williams. You know, he's got another game to play next week, and you got the playoffs ahead of you. He's carried it 21 times for 117 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Well,
you
he
certainly want to put it in here, but at the same time, if you can.
And he is our player of the game, brought to you by First NBC Bank. Damian Williams, of course, significant passing yardage as well in this game.
Yeah.
Second down, 7 from the 8-yard line. Rummel just letting the play clock run down here wisely as we tick under 2:40 to play in the game. Jesuit has 2 timeouts remaining. Damian Williams has been doing this for 4 years. He's got an idea. Fulton right, nice block. Fulton to the 5, broke another tackle. Look at him go. Keith Fulton to about the 2. How good has he been
He's
tonight?
a powerful back. Powerful back. And like you mentioned before, excellent receiver as well. This Rummel team's loaded with some athletes, and they're doing the right thing with them.
Well, Rummel's really pounded them up front tonight. They have that kind of football team, Mark.
Yep.
They have the ability to line up and beat you up front. They have good running backs, solid receivers, obviously a superior quarterback, a defense that runs very well, very good kicking game. Got to eliminate mistakes. We're talking about a team here that clearly has a chance to go a long way here.
Yeah, they do. And you know, you see tonight they overcome their mistakes. So that's something you got to chalk up to the Rummel football team, is that they're able to overcome these mistakes. But when they face somebody a little bit more talented maybe than Jesuit, it may come back to really bite them.
Well, Fulton is 3 yards short of a 100-yard game. 21 carries, 97 yards, a touchdown. He caught a touchdown
That kind of
pass,
snuck up
caught
on
a
me.
2-point conversion, so he's done a little bit of everything.
97 yards. I didn't realize he's had that much.
And as mentioned, he scored touchdown running, touchdown receiving, and a 2-point conversion in this game. Third down and a yard to go. Sneaky with Williams, and he looks to have the first down at the 1. That's the ultimate best case scenario for Rummel. Get the first down, keep the clock running.
And Jesuit, I think, is out. Are they out of time?
They have 1 left.
1 left.
And at this point, that's virtually useless, given the circumstances. Jesuit doing everything they can to try to keep Rummel out here. But this is, again, one very good Rummel football team. Official timeout here. I think they're going to measure for this. Ball's at the 1. The ball's touching the 1. I think, again, my naked eye said he was short a touch of the football earlier. Turned out to be right. I think he's got this by about the tip of the football.
Well, it almost looked like he went into the end zone with that pile right there.
Always falls forward, as you mentioned earlier.
Here's your measurement, and yeah, he's going to have this.
And there it is, tip of the football. First and goal, Rummel at the Jesuit 1 with 2:18 to play. And I think you're right. I mean, they wanted to take a load off of Damian late in this game. But right here, the temptation at the 1-yard line, come on, man.
put the nail in the coffin and just, you know, hang it up and let the clock run out.
That's a picture we've seen for 4 years. This kid stepped in as a freshman and led his team to the Superdome in the state championship
I
game.
remember that well. Everybody kind of wrote him off, you know, when he had to step in.
Very humble young man.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen the comments and the mutual respect between these two schools and programs this week, and the young men reflect very good things about these schools. Both of them.
In the newspaper Friday morning. It was really, really nice to see that.
And it's genuine, too.
Yeah, it is.
First and goal from the 1-yard line. Williams letting the play clock run down. Fulton is behind him. Steps under center. And he's going to give to Keith Fulton. Cuts it in, and he fights to the goal line. Is he in? He's at the goal line. He's laying in the end zone. Touchdown.
Late on that call, but that pretty much ends it right there. Any hope that the Blue Jays had of coming back, it's pretty much gone now.
Damian Williams is our player of the game with an asterisk that Keith Bolton is every bit as deserving.
You know,
right?
he kind of snuck. I guess I was watching Williams quite a lot, and he was doing so much, but man, another touchdown. So that's 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, he's accounted for 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion.
That's a
Millette
really good night.
knocks that one straight. So, with 1:46 to play, Rummel in total control now, 38-17 over Jesuit. Well, we talked about if you're a championship team, this is what you do when the game's on the line. Rummel has played like a championship team with the game on the
You
line.
strike when you get an opportunity, and you make up for some of those mistakes from earlier, and they're going to correct it. Believe me, he is going to harp on that tomorrow morning.
And now our play of the game brought to you by Kaz's with locations in Harahan and Lakeview. Kaz's, boy, great sandwiches. What an effort by Williams.
Great sandwiches for sure. I could use a hot one right now.
Right there with
There
you,
he
big
is.
boy.
Good play. Good play.
Well, he's
Special
some player. And for all of the fans watching tonight, Mark, you've gotten an idea of why all of us are so high on both of these quarterbacks for different reasons. They're both superb at what they do.
This is kind of what we expected. This has been a great football game, you know, and both sides have played so hard. They're very well coached. They've got good players. You know, credit to both schools, both teams for playing a game like this.
Millette kicked the bouncing ball to prevent any potential return, a 13-yard return. Jesuit will put it in play at their own 34-yard line. Well, this Jesuit team is a good football team.
Absolutely.
And they got to come back against a tough West Jefferson team next week. Of course, Rummel and Brother Martin will have that on our first NBC Prep Football Showcase next week. One way or the other, Jesuit's going to get a very good seed.
Sure, and Jesuit needs to get over this really fast because, like you said, West Jefferson's an excellent football team. Very talented, very well coached. They're playing really hot football right now.
That's a really good throw by Lee
nice
to
spot.
Dante Fly. That should be a first down at about the 44. I mean, Lee is under pressure again. He's rolling left into the wind and makes a perfect throw.
He's dealing with something he hasn't had to deal with too much this year, and I'm really liking how he's handling it.
I think he's done a great job against it. Look, Rummel is superb defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. They won't play a better defense than this for the rest of the year.
It's 11 yards and a first down. Rummel gave up 18 points to St. Augustine. They scored very late to get to that number. Jesuit scored 17-9. They're not finished. Lee rolling right, stopping, throwing. Alexander will wisely step out of bounds. Not about the yardage there. It's about preserving time, and
Sure.
Mitchell understands the game.
Yeah, he really does. And it's been fun watching him grow up through this program as well. You know, getting on the field a little bit last year, coming around as a receiver, coming around as a punt returner, and then now he's been a huge part of this offense.
And it's been fun to watch the guy that made sure he got out of bounds, number 3, Terrence Jones. Where isn't he?
Yeah, that's a better way to look at it. Where isn't he?
Lee. Oh, into traffic. Somehow they got through, and they throw a flag late.
What is that?
Wow, I'm not sure what that's for.
I don't either, but
I mean,
Terrence
it's
Jones.
just a hit on the shoulder pad. I think they're going to call a personal foul on Rummel.
Jones
and I
is
really
right
don't get
underneath it. Jones was there again. There's probably 2 or 3 of them out there numbered as 3 that are running all over the place.
Called interference there, which is pretty strange.
Yeah,
That ball was into traffic galore.
he's saying the ball was tipped. He's upset about that.
Yeah, Jay Roth has not been real happy about
No.
a whole lot here tonight. His team's going to win, and they're clearly the better side, but there's some things they have to clean up. They call interference here. Let's see if we can see anything that looks like it. No, we're not seeing the ball there.
There we go.
I'm not sure where
can't tell.
interference could have possibly occurred there,
Unless they just jammed him really far down the field
Yeah.
and wouldn't allow him to run his route.
which we wouldn't have seen there.
Right.
Here's Lee. Buying as much time as he can. Boy, he got walloped by Matthew Kennedy, and Hackney got walloped by Joshua Franklin. Still completed the pass, but
Tough kid.
Rummel just putting some serious licks on him.
Tough kid. He stands in there. He extends the play. That's the buzzword now in the NFL. You know, this guy can extend the play, and that's the truth. He can extend the play with his feet, and he doesn't give up on a play. Would have been just as easy to throw that out of bounds.
Rolling to the right away from pressure, and there's Alexander, and he'll wisely step out of bounds on Bennett. That should be a first down with 36 seconds left. Offensive line coach would appreciate some of the comments we hear.
I'm listening to it all. Here's that throw again.
That was earlier.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Here's Lee with a 1st and 10 of the 26, 36 seconds left. Hit again. My goodness. He got just walloped by Franklin. And Austin Vance got a hand on the football for Rummel, incomplete. Rummel's been close to quite a few picks. Remember, they had one that was returned for a touchdown that was called back for one. We're still not sure about what happened. We'll find out later.
Franklin makes a really good move right here. Bob swat on the center. Bob one-way swat him, come right back underneath, and that's how he was able to get free.
Jay Roth is happy that he's just a junior. In fact, his whole starting defensive line are juniors. So,
golly. Is there another Jones that's a
no,
junior?
He's a senior. There's
he's going to come off the corner right here. Here he comes.
Lee, heavy pressure again, and the pressure caused him to throw it away. Franklin, like a bullet, got to in that time.
Watch what this kid does here. 3 comes off the corner. Jones comes off the corner on a blitz, full blitz. Reads a middle screen, turns and runs, and almost got underneath. Now that's coaching, that's athletic ability, but that's instinct. Serious instinct.
That's a pretty good combination when you got those 3 things together.
I think the best way to really describe him is he's a very instinctive football player. It comes again.
Lee against the blitz again. Deep outright for Hackney. What an interception. This time it's going to count for Tolliver, but he fumbles the ball, although he gets on it at the 27-yard line. So there's the first interception on Lee this year.
I was just going to say that, and that, how many attempts?
It's remarkable.
It's got to be some kind of record.
When you look at what he's done this year, he came in with 119 attempts, and he's thrown the ball, about 28 times in this game? Something like that, somewhere in that vicinity. So you're talking about 140 plus attempts.
Yeah.
And Andre Tolliver, a really good football player there to make the pick for the Raiders. We're going to leave here with a very solid win over Jesuit. And again, for Rummel to win this game by 21 points with all the things that went against them tell you what kind of football team they have.
Sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. Correct the mistakes, stay healthy, and they've got as good a shot as anybody, to go really far.
Victory tastes sweet for the Rummel Raiders, who are now 8-0, 3-0 in District 9-5A. 38-17, Archbishop Rummel over Jesuit tonight. Blue Jays fall to 7-1 and 2-1 in the district. Hugging and handshakes, and again, it's genuine. They just went after each other hard, but there's incredible respect on both sides. Again, I really like the way this rivalry has evolved. It's a good one.
Absolutely, it has grown into a great rivalry.
So a victory for Rummel, 38-17 over Jesuit. We'll take the time out. Back with our post-game show in just a moment on the first NBC Prep Football Showcase. good players that play. Jetty picks the right spots, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with.
Number 1 Rummel looks like it tonight, beating a very good Jesuit team convincingly, pulling away late. 38-17 final. Here's Danny Ream with victorious Raiders head coach Jay Roth.
We're down here on the field with head coach of the Rummel Raiders, Jay Roth, district champions. It's got to sound good.
A share of the district champion, Danny. A share of it. I'm not taking anything for granted yet, okay? A share.
Got to finish things up next week,
correct.
obviously, but your team really responded tonight. There was some adversity. I know at halftime you felt like you should have been further along than you were on the scoreboard, but you guys really overcame that and played very well late in the game, kind of broke it open late.
Well, I mean, they shocked us on the first, not shocked us, but I knew they were capable of doing it, but they scored in the first play of the game. You think it's going to be a firework game. Both teams go up and down the field, and then we left so many points on the field, you know, with fumbles and just undisciplined football, which we got to straighten up. But when the fourth quarter started, you know, down by one, we answered.
Well, congratulations. I know you enjoy this one the rest of the night and get ready for the Crusaders next week.
You got it.
All
You
right,
got it.
Coach.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
Ken, that's Jay Roth, head coach of the Raiders, and he's happy tonight. Back up to you.
Well, he should be happy. His team showed mettle when it mattered. Championship form, winning at 38-17 tonight. By the way, Tanner Lee, 12 of 27, 207 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Rummel finished with 436 total yards. Damian Williams, 22 carries, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 6 of 11 passing for 112 yards and a touchdown with an interception. Keith Fulton was big, 21 carries, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught a touchdown pass, and he got a 2-point conversion as well. Caleb Menard, 12 carries, 63 yards, and a score. Mark Sanji, final thoughts.
So much production on that Rummel side. Jay Roth hit it on the head just now, though, with some mistakes and some undisciplined football that they want to overcome, and every good football coach wants to do that. It'll catch up with him later on. I know he knows that. It's in the back of his mind. But good news there is he's got a football team that's good enough to overcome those against a very well-disciplined and well-coached and athletic Jesuit football team. So it was what we thought for a little over 3.5 quarters. Great football game.
Well, it certainly was, Mark. It's been a distinct pleasure, my friend, and I
Always
look forward
my
to doing
pleasure.
it again next week.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks for joining us tonight. The first NBC Bank Prep Showcase returns Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. as the Rummel Raiders take on the Brother Martin Crusaders at Tad Gormley Stadium. For Mark Sanji, Danny Ream, and our entire WHNO crew, I'm Ken Trahan. Once again, your final score, the Rummel Raiders 38 and the Jesuit Blue Jays 17. Thanks for joining us. Be a good sport, and God bless you one and all. Rounding third and heading home. So long.